Good Tuesday morning. It's the main event. I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum. And folks, his ankle's hurt today. He has officially jumped off the bandwagon. He limped in here on some crutches after that bandwagon jump. Of course, you know him as 17-year NFL veteran, 3-time Super Bowl champion for your Dallas Cowboys. Dale Hellestrae, how are those ankles doing today?
Well, I didn't realize that the bandwagon was going downhill, and I didn't realize the terrain was so tough.
You jumped off at like the worst possible time, right? It's like, man, you had to wait till that cliff was there for us all to bounce off this thing, huh?
No, it was very early in that game that I jumped off.
Well, let me ask you this: you're not a big soccer fan.
not at
Before we get to that, I just have one quick question.
Yeah.
When did you notice the U.S. was in trouble yesterday? Out of curiosity.
Almost from the get-go.
Yeah.
And again, you correct me because I don't know a whole lot, but the way I was viewing this, it seemed like that Belgium was faster the ball, hungrier, more energetic.
That's what I'm getting at. I wanted to see if I'm gonna call you a novice soccer fan, but somebody that doesn't know about. So I wanted to see if it jumped off the page to you as well.
That's what jumped out when I was watching with my friends over at the house that you didn't come over to. When
I wasn't invited. Hey, I just want to go on record. I woke up at 4:45.
Right.
I had plenty of time to not get there on time.
Yeah, I was gonna say I did not get there on time. Brooke made up this special pasta. Well, Steve's coming.
Autumn brought over a pizza.
Okay.
We watched the game from that side. Good. She got off work early. Her boss was like, "Get out of work early. Go home. Go watch this game."
Yes, and that's awesome.
It's that type of atmosphere going into it. But no, I was just curious because that's how I saw it instantly.
Well, but again, and I'll let you talk more from the knowing soccer. But like that first goal that Belgium, first of all, that wasn't their first opportunity. They had another opportunity earlier, but that one they scored, it just looked to me like there were 3 USA guys standing there just looking at it.
Standing around, quicksand, or they're stuck in mud or something.
Yeah, their legs are tired. Or it just looked different than the other games that I watched. Yeah. As far as technique of kicking a ball or I don't understand.
Oh, so you didn't pick up on that? Oh no, I saw that.
It looked like they were off. On their passes and things like that.
It was literally like I would equate this to, I think back to like the Coyotes when they were really bad when they were out at Glendale.
Yeah.
When the league owned them. And like a good team would come into town. And it was like just puck on the sticks the whole way down the ice. And the Coyotes were like dribbling one, bouncing them across the ice. I noticed it almost instantly and I went, oh crap, we're in trouble. Belgium was like just putting balls like on their feet, across the field. It just looked like precision. And a lot of that is, and I realized it early, and that's what I didn't put into my analysis yesterday. They should be evenly matched teams going into this.
Talent-wise. You're saying talent-wise. Okay.
In terms of the teams going at it. What I didn't factor in is Belgium, and I knew it. I didn't factor it in because I just assumed that the U.S. talent would be there. Belgium they play high-end club football, meaning Premier League. Like, none of those guys on Belgium are on, like, schlub Premier League teams, like lower-tier Premier League.
Okay.
They play top-of-the-line soccer a lot. To me, it looked like the U.S. came into the game almost like, this is a big game. Like, we gotta play them. They came in nervous. They came in like a team not prepared for that environment. And Belgium was like, we do this every day.
Right.
I ain't worried about this. That's what I noticed right off the bat. And then the U.S. looked slow and hesitant. That goaltender move at that second half to go down 3-1. That's a blunder you make in soccer. That's a blunder you make when you feel outmatched and you're trying to do something. Like in football terms, it's when you start seeing trick plays by a team. Like, all right, that team knows they don't have the talent to compete, so they're trying to surprise them. Stuff like that. And so it's interesting to see your perspective on that. I know Robert on Twitter last night said he noticed it as well, that the talent level was just some of those intricacies, like just moving the ball. It was just like watching Belgium just ding, 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 ding. The U.S., their passes were being, intercepted all the time. Belgium was just like, dude, all right. Oh, my guy's over there. I'm going to just put the ball at his feet over there. and the U.S. were trying to dribble between guys and stuff and things to that. Even our top level guys, that do play on those top level things. It's just they were outmanned yesterday.
Well,
and it was the type of a thing. There's no shame in that. It's just I told you everybody all along, Dale. The U.S. ain't, because people are like, U.S. can win this thing. No. I told you all along. No, they're going to get to a talent level where they're going to look like they don't belong. I did not think it would be Belgium.
Okay.
But they're not at that France. They're not at that Spain. They're not at that Belgium level. They're not the Brazil level. They'll get schooled by those teams, the talent levels. These are kids that come through up academies, playing soccer. U.S. doesn't have that system.
And we'll have plenty of time to talk about why and how come and whatever, because that's all also started in the debate in the Twitterverse.
The stupid deal afterwards.
But again, the things that jumped out to us as we're watching. Number one, it looked like the U.S. couldn't even get a shot on goal. It looked like Belgium, almost every time they came down the pitch, that they were setting stuff up and guys were having opportunities to throw the ball to net. Not throw, kick,
whatever.
But it seemed like the first time, and they did put something up, the first time the U.S. had a shot, the goal was a penalty kick.
Yeah, well, it was, and they scored on it. It went off the wall, to go in. No, that was their first shot on goal. I think that was their only shot on goal for like most of the first half.
Right, and it's like, and again, I'm a novice. I like in hockey. I think the more times you pepper the net with the puck, you never know where it's going to bounce. You don't know what's going to happen.
Well, no, you put it on net.
But if you don't ever put it on the net, you're not going to score.
No, put pressure on the other team is what I always say, right? And, like Belgium did that. The ball was passed back. The goaltender had to come out, make a play on the ball, and he muffed it.
Right.
And so put pressure on him and stuff like that. The thing I take away, so, you're disappointed because it was a 4-1 loss. I thought it would be more competitive. But I'm not surprised by the outcome. Because I knew it was. I felt it was coming because the U.S., what we learned here is the U.S. is a top 16 team in the nation, in the world. Top 16. But that's it.
And so you could say they're somewhere between 10 and 20, 10 and 16.
Yeah.
And then there's a significant difference when you get to the top 8.
Absolutely.
And
you could see it. The France didn't even play the U.S. And you watch a France game, and you go, okay, that team's better.
Right.
That team's way worlds above.
So you're not saying you didn't see like dead legs or lack of effort or
I saw scared. I saw intimidated. I saw
Belgium looked stronger when they would hit each other.
Well, just the head balls were what I noticed. The U.S. players would kind of like just sit there, and the Belgian players, aggressiveness is how I'd phrase it. They were more aggressive to the ball.
Like that goal he scored. Like actually, there was a guy in good position for the U.S.
Reams. Jumped over Reams.
It's
just I saw a lot of hesitation. I'm going to say too big for the moment. But what I also think, though, that might be a little harsh, though. That might be that the U.S. knew going into that game that Belgium's better.
Right.
They're a good team, and we have to play our best to get there. And then so they tried to play their best, and by doing so, they focused on it too much that they showed up and didn't even play their game, let alone anything else.
Let me tell you what. Again, this was my initial thoughts, and I'm watching. I'm not critical of the U.S. soccer team.
Yeah.
To me, it looks like they got beat soundly by a better team,
much better team.
But it was the step slow, those kind of things. And I was talking to my buddies. I said there were games like early in my college career, early in my NFL career, to where it's a big game.
Yeah, lots of eyeballs on it. Means a lot.
And all of a sudden, you're like, we're playing University of Texas. They were, I think, number 2. We were number 4 my sophomore year.
Some bright lights in that game.
And all of a sudden, it's like middle of the first quarter. I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand why. I'm like, I'm 19 years old. I'm in good shape. Yeah. I play 70 plays a game.
You hadn't been in that environment.
I hadn't been to that level of importance.
Yeah.
To which, and guess what? The next time that I was in that situation, I learned to handle it different. even more mentally.
Yeah, well, I think it's more mental.
Which helped me physically.
And I think that's what it was. Belgium, their players, did you notice something? I said this I think it was to Robert. I responded to him on Twitter. I responded to somebody on Twitter. Did you notice Belgium put their greatest scorer of all time in the second half? Like the U.S. is substituting in bench players.
Right.
And Belgium's like, all right, now we can put our number one leading scorer in the game. There's a different level here with the top level teams, the top 4, 5, 6 teams out there that the U.S. is just not at. Most teams in the world aren't at that level, and things to that effect. So it was an amazing reminder of where you stand in the world when it comes to this sport. But like you said, I mean, we've all seen it. So that's where I kind of struggle. Is it just the lights were too bright for him? Or was it there's a giant talent deficiency?
Well, I could see it all being a factor.
Yeah.
Again, to me, the microcosm of the night was the first goal that Belgium scored. That one dude really ran past 3 USA guys.
Well, that was what I know. Every time Belgium did a cross ball across the middle, there were 2 or 3 Belgian guys running free.
And you could tell the couple times that there wasn't, you could tell the guy who passed the ball was like,
yeah, exactly.
Where are you?
Why aren't you there? No, that's what I know. And it was like I know I was like thinking, like, okay, defense is a problem. And then I saw somebody else say, man, the coaching on this is terrible. I was also watching the coach's reaction for the U.S. team. He was, Autumn even mentioned, he was kicking water bottles over.
Oh, yeah.
He was upset. He saw it too. Coaches can't do anything in soccer once the game starts. Yeah, you can substitute guys in, but you can't stop that attitude, and you can't stop that and get guys to play harder, et cetera. You saw the energy pick up there toward the end, but they were already down 3-1.
Yeah.
But Belgium's playing a different style at that point. They're going to a defensive style and things to that effect. The fact that the coach kicked over water bottles on the quick goal, the 61-second goal after the U.S. tied it up, the equalizer, told me right there that coach was not happy with the way his team was playing. Like he's like, this isn't what we practiced. This isn't what we were doing. This isn't what we talked about. What are you guys doing out there? That's what that told me. And he was like,
and that's the worst thing about being a coach. Seeing how I bet on both sides. As a coach, you can't control it. All you can do is we worked on this.
You have more say in football, though, in other sports, basketball, football, baseball.
Maybe.
You have more say during the game than you do in soccer.
Maybe.
They come over on a hydration break and at halftime. And in this World Cup. Other than that, man, they're out there on their own.
And you see certain coaches yelling out at their players, and I'm sure you can get some extra. But that's the thing. It's like, again, I relate it to American football. In fact, you work on a blitz.
Yeah.
This team does this blitz, 12 times a game.
Yeah.
It's really easy to pick up if we run our protection. Mm-hmm. And then sure enough,
first play of the game it comes.
And we don't run the protection. It's like, we worked on that all week.
Exactly. And in practice, you probably nailed it every time.
Yeah.
First time in a game, you're like
but
yeah, no. My favorite thing about it, because I was thinking about this last night. I remember I was talking to a professional basketball player years ago, 10, 15 years ago, and we were actually watching some film, and I was like, man, why doesn't the coach teach this guy? He wasn't playing defense right. He kept getting blown. I was like, why doesn't the coach teach this guy to not play defense? And he goes, I guarantee you that coach has had that conversation with that guy 30 times leading up to this game on what this guy's going to do. And I guarantee you that conversations happen. I guarantee you that coach is fuming right now because he not doing what they practiced the week. And he goes, and I also promise you, that guy probably did it in practice 100 times right to where they were confident he was going to do it in the game right. And I was like, you know what? That's a good point. I guess you couldn't always blame the coaches.
Well, and that's the whole thing. When you're playing, you have you have total control of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Which that in turn gives you a little control over what's happening on the field. When you're coaching, you're just sitting there going, what went through your mind right there?
It just, I mean, look, I told you guys, because I started seeing last week, does the U.S. have a chance? And I was like, no, they don't. They don't have a chance to win this thing. They can beat the teams at their level and the teams below them. but they're not going to beat the top-tier national teams. We're not set up to compete with those guys if you know anything about soccer. Like, Belgium's kids grow up in a Belgian system, from a young age. And they go through the things to get handpicked for these positions. And like I said, they go over and they're playing top-tier Premier League. You could see it almost instantly. Belgium, when that ball was kicked off, Belgium was like, just another game.
Oh,
just another high-stakes game. Cool, let's go do our game here. You saw no panic in their eyes. You saw no worry. And I just felt on the U.S. side, it was like, ooh, these lights are bright. A lot of people here.
Yeah.
No, we win this. We're going down to 8. And especially coming off that Spain, not Paraguay, Spain, Portugal game before, where both of those teams just looked like relaxed, like in the moment. They knew what their environment they were in. They're just used to being there. And I didn't factor that in. I didn't think the U.S. would wilt. I thought we'd see more of a Mexico-England game than what we saw last night. That's where I get disappointed.
Right.
But it also comes down to, like I said, just the talent level on the U.S. Our number one scoring guy, who's been a part of this team for a ton of time now, just can't stay healthy. He's hurt. Even he plays over there in Europe, and he can't stay healthy over there, and stuff to that effect. And the U.S. is a top 15 team in the league in the world. Great, but they're not going to compete with those top tier teams until, I hate to say it, until we change our youth programs, and it's not going to change.
Well,
parents are going to have to send their kids overseas.
Well, the thing I was going to say, because I did see this on Twitter, Clay Travis put down, he was just talking about, because he's a big soccer fan, he's cheering for the USA, disappointed with the outcome, blah, blah, blah. But they said, what a lot of people don't understand is that if you're a good young soccer player in the United States, club ball, not the highest level, the mid-level club ball, costs parents $5,000 a year.
Oh, it's more than that.
And I'm just, 15, he's saying mid-level.
Oh, mid-level. Okay.
Yeah. But the higher levels cost more. Yeah. And he said, there's a lot of families who can't afford
parents pay that, yeah.
And so somehow, some way, these other countries find ways to.
Oh no, Dale, it's even worse than that. A good kid at 7, 8 years old that goes into the academies in Brazil, goes into the academies in Belgium and England, they get paid to go to those schools. They pay the parents for the kid to go there.
Okay.
And here we're the opposite, right? You have to pay for the privilege. But the other side of it is kids here grow up, right? And I grew up, okay, so I know it's 30 years ago. But I grew up, soccer was my favorite sport. It's what I played my whole life growing up. And I dabbled in basketball and baseball, but I always went back to soccer. I was a rarity at that point. Everybody else was like, oh, I got football practice, and then I'll come to soccer practice.
Well, usually, again, your best athletes at pick any high school in the Phoenix metropolitan area, they are guided towards football, basketball, or baseball.
Absolutely.
And that's just the way it's always been.
You get those football players over because they can be defensemen because they're big. Just come out here and brutalize these guys. But again, it's secondhand type of a deal.
Right.
But I mean, they have club sports that you can go into and things. But like I said, it's just that different atmosphere where you're paying out compared to over there. I mean, they make good money, man. They literally kidnap a kid. They don't go to school. They go to school, and they go and learn stuff.
But school's wrapped around soccer.
School's wrapped around soccer.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. Yeah. And they live there. They dominate there. If I had to equate it to something, if what's that, the basketball, where the kids come up in basketball, it's like you go to a big school, you get a scholarship, you get paid to go to that school. And that's more for the high school kids.
Yeah.
What's that called? AUA or whatever?
Well, I don't know if it's AAU, but like the IMG Academy.
Stuff like that.
Things like that.
Those kids get plucked at 7th grade going, this kid's got a chance to be something great. You're coming to this academy. They get paid to go there. They get scholarships to go there. That's what you need on the soccer side, and we just don't have that.
And by the way, the other thing is when you start doing that 7th and 8th grade, for every Ronaldo, there's 500 kids who don't make it.
But that's the thing, though. Belgium doesn't have one guy on that team that you think of as like a world superstar, to where you pick him out and you're gonna have his poster on your wall. But they're really, really good to go to that level. They're just not going to be the Ronaldos, the Messis.
Right.
But they're all making millions of dollars still. Their life is not sad.
Right.
And stuff. So that was my take on the U.S. last night. Autumn chimes in. Don't forget, join us on the chat on YouTube. Says, as a former teacher, she's got to put former in there now. Says, I will confirm there's nothing more frustrating than knowing you taught something, but watching your students do something else. She goes, same with parenting. She says, we all know how that feels, but you still don't kick water bottles and throw a fit like that. Absolutely, you do.
Oh, Autumn, that
bothered her, Dale, when he kicked the water bottle.
I very, very rarely disagree with Miss Autumn, but showing a little emotion is okay. It's not like he threw a water bottle at a player or something like that.
They were just sitting there, and he needed to get some frustration. They gave up a goal 61 seconds later, and it was an easy goal to give up with 3 guys breaking in on your goalkeeper.
Yeah.
After you just scored. That is utterly ridiculous. That's unexcusable. The goalkeeper mistake was, you make those mistakes in young leagues, and you quickly learn not to make those mistakes. You're just getting rid of the ball. It doesn't matter where it goes. But he looked hesitant, didn't know where to put it. You just kick that thing as hard as you can.
Yes.
And it's just like, what is happening right now? It just sometimes you walk into a place, I haven't experienced it lately. But sometimes you walk in a place and it's just, you're out of your league.
Well, and here's the thing too, because that happens on the football field
all the time.
It's fascinating to me that I'm 63, going to be 64 in a couple of days, and it wasn't until a year ago that I found out that I hit hard.
Yeah,
you never think about that. When I was talking to other players.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who told you that? It was somebody too. It was somebody like that's really, really good that told you that.
Yeah,
you were like, wait, what?
Well, John Randall was one of them.
That was who it was.
You never think, just like a soccer player,
John Randall,
as an offensive lineman, like I don't know. I know when Steve hits me.
Yeah,
I know what that feels like.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's a lot more impactful than another guy that's going to hit me. But you never know how you hit.
Yeah.
And so, again, you're a good soccer player because you're in the World Cup and you're in the round of 16 and all that. But a lot of times you don't know how good you are or how fast you are or all those things. And it was just fascinating watching some of those things last night. But as far as the emotion, that's the other thing when you're talking about teaching or being a parent. You don't got 5 million people watching you, or however many people watched that game last night.
Well, just that stadium was rocking.
Oh, it was rocking and rolling, and however many people watched it on TV. When you're parenting, and you show a little frustration with something, you don't got 8 million people going, oh, no. That's how you handle it.
I took him as him kicking that by going, this isn't what we practice. This isn't our game plan. You guys aren't doing what we optioned. You guys are being lethargic out there. That's what I took it as. The frustration from him was, what are we doing?
Right.
This is what we talked about. That's what I took it as. And it doesn't bother me at all. But yeah, Autumn, that bothered Autumn. She was all turned against the coach.
Come on, Autumn. You've never picked up an eraser and threw it at a kid, giving you a wrong answer.
You can admit it now.
Yeah.
You can admit it now on that side. But I mean, what do I mean by, I've always had the Diamondbacks as a 500 team for the last couple of years. Other people are jumping on that bandwagon now, so thank you, other people, for that. But this team is a top 16 team in the world. That's a great place to be. Right. Like you said, there's a big drop-off from the top tier. Watch these teams remaining and playing each other. Right. And it's going to be a 0-0 draw. It's going to be like a 1-0. You're going to go, well, these two are evenly matched teams. But what they have to do to get stuff, like it's a step-up level from here on out. It's going to be an amazing thing to see coming up. But the U.S. this year, round of 16, lost 4-1 to Belgium. 2022, last World Cup, round of 16, lost 3-1 to the Netherlands. They didn't qualify in 2018. That's how bad they were. 2014, round of 16, lost 2-1 to Belgium in extra time. 2010, round of 16, lost 2-1 to Ghana in extra time at that point. 2006, they didn't get out of the group stage there. Quarterfinals in 2002. So they've graduated up to round of 16. But now how do you get to that next tier? And you're going up against, this would be like a YMCA team going up against like the best high school basketball teams. you're just at a different level.
Right.
The training, the practices, the way you come up, your expectation level. And the thing that just stuck with me last night was they didn't even play one of their best players last night, Belgium. They didn't even put him in the game. They just rested him the whole game. They didn't need him. But when they substituted 2 guys in, and one of them was their all-time leading scorekeeper, which that guy looked like, he looked like a football player, like a U.S. football player going out there. But you're just like, oh, man, they're substituting their best players in.
Right.
And they have a 3-1 lead, and the U.S. is like, well, this guy's coming in off the bench. He's played a little. you're stepping up to enough. Doesn't mean you couldn't beat them. It's just they would have had to have played a near perfect game, and there were a calamity of errors yesterday on the U.S. side as well. So I'm not disappointed. I enjoyed the run. It's just like I told you, 2022 they were round of 16. 2014 they were round of 16. It felt different this year.
Yes. But is that because it was here in the U.S.?
It's got to be the difference, doesn't it?
And
I don't particularly think. Was there a player on this team you can rally around?
I don't think so.
Right? Because their main guy that's on every commercial and everything, Pulisic, can't stay healthy.
Right.
Constantly hurt. Did nothing in this tournament. And he was the guy they were pushing us on there. Is there somebody on this team where you go, this is somebody I could follow, going back over to Europe? And no. They're just a bunch of guys playing soccer out there. Whereas I can tell you that I don't know their names, but there's 2 or 3 guys on Belgium that I'm like, oh, he plays for fun. I'm gonna watch more of their games to watch this kid play.
Right. Right.
You saw that level difference, and I was just like, all right, cool, whatever.
Well, I think I said this yesterday. The thing about the United States still being alive in it and it being over here,
I think that was the difference.
It kept you were involved in everything. And it to me, it's like the Phoenix Suns when they were making runs to the Western Conference Finals and things like that. Yeah. It's like, boy, the playoffs went fast.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh my gosh, really? We're already into the Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals? Oh, well, that's because the Suns are playing.
Yeah, we're a couple days away from no World Cup games because they have to take a break because we're down to a few teams now.
Yeah.
And I'm just used to watching it for the last couple of weeks. Now I'm going to be like, go through withdrawals for a couple of days coming up when there's no games. Like, what are we doing? Autumn says, we all know how that feels, but you don't kick water bottles and throw a fit like that.
Oh, Autumn.
All because the feed cut. No, should you do like the Bosnian coach did and grab the ball and throw a little hissy fit and get a yellow card? I mean, what do you want to go? Coaches have emotions too.
In a highly charged event, yes.
Well, that's the thing. Like, this coach is from Argentina. The U.S. coach is from Argentina. He grew up in that atmosphere of just coming up through the game, getting to that coaching level. He's got a lot of pride on his side and everything. Oh, you're taking on the U.S. team? Oh, good luck to you, And all of that stuff, he probably gets laughed at a little bit by his coaching peers and people in Argentina. Like, that's the team you're going to take over and try to do something with? Sucker.
I will say this, while it's on my mind, I have come to really appreciate the pregame stuff with this World Cup.
I have not watched any of it, to be honest.
Where they bring the flags of both countries, the players.
Football, soccer always does that. They do that for a random regular season game.
The players walk out with a kid, and everybody that I watched sang their national anthem. Yeah. Like the players were singing it. Mm-hmm. The pomp and circumstances, unbelievable the way they do things.
It's a visual, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. They do that different. That would be like you coming out of your locker room and you have a kid with you, and you look at that. Look at that reaction. That's what I'm talking about.
No, because I'm mentally prepared to go knock the bejesus out of somebody.
You're literally trying to kill somebody.
Yeah,
that's what always cracked me up about senior day in college, where it's like, oh, come out and meet your parents. Yeah. You're like, oh, mom's all crying or whatever, and then it's like, let's go kill people. Yeah. It's like, that doesn't do the senior thing well before the game or something, because it doesn't make sense to do it there. Robert says, you get what you get and don't throw a fit.
Oh, goodness.
I do like how they cut to him just as he was kicking him, though. It did give me a little chuckle from that side. But, yeah, no, Autumn. Yeah, I know.
Did you get in trouble for all your comments about Autumn yesterday?
Yeah, well, I was able to avoid that.
The
U.S. not playing well got me out of
that.
Oh, did it? So U.S. eliminated. I'm looking forward to the rest of the round. It'll be interesting to see. I did a story on the Business Story today just talking about Fox 10 did the story and about they're talking to bar owners and restaurants because their business is through the roof.
Right.
Because this is an event, and I'm not somebody to go around big. I'll go to a party. I'll go to somebody's house to watch. I'm not one to be like I'm going to go to the bar to watch this game. I'd rather watch it at home. I can enjoy it myself, and all that. But I mean, it was fun being in San Diego, sitting at the bar, watching that Cape Verde Argentina game. Like that was fun. Seeing the reactions of the crowd and all of that stuff. So I get that, but they're expecting the crowds to still stay big out there, here locally and nationally, even with the U.S. because teams are now going, I'm moving for this team and that team. So it'll be interesting to see here as you go out there and what the reaction is here after the U.S. team. Like I said, and I do believe some of that is just because it's here. You're not having to wake up at 3 a.m. to watch a game. Right, these games are just right in the middle of the day. Like Morocco is coming up this Thursday, 1 p.m. Spain, Belgium's coming up noon on Friday as well.
So that's right in the middle of your nap schedule.
I know. I'm gonna have to adjust that.
Well, I will say this: the World Cup this year, as opposed to Olympics, I always watch the Olympics. I watched probably more complete soccer games this World Cup, not even just of the USA, but a few others than I have in my entire 63-year life.
And I contribute that to it being here.
Yeah.
Like next World Cup's in Morocco. There's a little bit of a time difference between us and Morocco.
Yeah.
Folks. And they don't play the games at 2 a.m. Morocco time. So it'll be different. But I mean, like I said, they just made the round of 16 4 years ago. I was telling you, I don't remember it being like this. So it's got to be because it's here. And when it was here last, 94, I was junior in high school, maybe a senior in high school at that point, going into my senior year. And I don't remember it being like, plus back then the team was not good. It was terrible. Tony Meola, Kobe Jones.
My question is, Steve, what do you think Bruce Cooper's history of soccer?
Maybe he could have made a goal instead of, we know he couldn't make the basket. Maybe he could make the goal.
Wow.
Yeah, as well. Hey, before we get to Bruce here really quick, I just wanted to bring up the Rattlers played last night as well.
Yep.
I believe this was the first time San Diego's lost in their new building. They started there last year. They have a 3-year agreement in this new building. It's up by Carlsbad. It's about 40 minutes north of downtown San Diego and everything. They went in last night, dominated that game. That Rattlers defense has turned into something. They could go on a run with this defense.
Right.
But I'll also say the offense. Here's what I got a question for you, Dale. We don't know the answer to this. They went from Max Myler, Drew Powell, whatever it was, week 6 or whatever. And how long ago we think we have a better chance with Drew Powell. Now they've gone back to Max Myler. He's playing well.
Yep.
This offense is rolling.
Well,
I questioned if Myler was injured. Is there a possibility, or was it a he needs to learn a little bit more?
I think it could be twofold. Number one, he might have been banged up, not
injured, banged up.
In indoor football league, there's a lot of secrecy. It's not like the NFL where
Dale,
you get fined.
I'm around the locker room, and I can't find out what's happening.
Yeah. And there's a lot of secrecy. The league doesn't enforce anything like the NFL does.
They do give you more information now, though, because I think Yahoo Sports demands it. Like, they're putting stuff out like a day before the game now.
Okay.
Whereas with the last few years, I'd come see you and be like, what were you told?
Right.
As a broadcaster going into this. So there's a little bit more info than but you don't get the like last night, the center 55 moved over to right guard, and they had a new center in there. Nothing about that pregame. I just noticed it because I, of course, cover them and stuff like that. But they're rocking and rolling now, going into the playoffs, going into San Diego, who's got something to play for. Throw up the Western Conference standings really quick for me out there as well. So San Diego moves down from first place to second place with the win. Now, they played one less game than Vegas. They have to play each other, I believe, this week. Vegas and San Diego. So that's a huge game on the schedule for them. Rattlers, as I said, are in the playoff. That win just means they're going to be the 3 seed. Minimum.
But with the possibility of getting to that 2 seed, which means you get to have a home playoff game.
Yeah, you need San Diego to lose to Vegas, and then they got an easy game. I think they played Northern Arizona last, if I remember right. But San Diego 1 game behind everybody as well, so they got 3 games remaining. So you got a possibility for 2 with that win last night. So this Tucson game this weekend is going to be something that kind of for the seeding. Of course, last home game coming up Saturday night, and I got a decision to make on this.
Uh-oh.
Conor McGregor's UFC fight is Saturday night. And I usually watch UFC while I'm there, but they also kick off at like 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. or something. Do I blow off the Rattlers this week to watch UFC?
Well, you'll talk to Lou on Friday or whatever you said. Lou has not been super hyped
coming in on Friday
about
this week. Yeah,
he has not been super hyped about this Conor McGregor.
Because Conor McGregor hasn't fought in 5 years.
Yeah.
He was on a losing streak coming into his beforehand. Hasn't fought for 5 years. I agree with him on it. There's nothing to be. I'm interested in seeing what he can do. If you don't know Conor McGregor's lifestyle, when he was growing up, Dale, he was fighting his way out of the slums of Ireland. Had that mentality. Now he lives on a boat, $1 million yacht. Wears
silk
nice
pajamas, butlers,
and he hasn't fought for 5 years.
Yeah.
Come on, what type of attitude do you have going into this fight?
And for that though, it'd be fascinating because you can see it go one of 2 ways. You could see that. Hey, maybe he's starting to run out of money and he wants to go for another 2-3 years, and
he needs to win.
He gets that edge back.
Yeah.
Or this is one last payday, and
it could go both ways. I'm intrigued by it, but it's not something where I'm going to lose my mind about coming up. But anyhow, Rattlers got the win in San Diego last night. Hopefully that bus ride home overnight was good because that game didn't get. I fell asleep in the 4th quarter with like 5 minutes to go, and it was like 10 o'clock.
Well, start an hour later than usual because of the World Cup soccer game.
They got home at what, 2-3 in the morning to 6-hour ride home.
I saw Kevin Guy posted a picture again. The coaches were in the van on the way home after a victory, and looked like they were enjoying the fruits of their labor.
The last home game for the Rattlers this Saturday. They have a chance for the 2nd. They're going to be the 3 seed. Maybe they can move into the they still need a lot to go. Now, they've got the tiebreaker against San Diego. So if San Diego manages to lose 2 out of the next 3 and the Rattlers can win out, you get the 2 seed. And that means a home playoff game coming up for you as well. So I just wanted to touch base on that. Let's take our break. Bring Bruce Cooper in here. We got a lot to talk about. Dale, your Arizona Diamondbacks. Looks like the team we thought they'd be all year last night. Second of all, how bad are the Padres right now? They're bad. I didn't know they were that bad. We got some Suns talk we got to talk about. We got college football. Big 12 Media Day starts today. Your favorite coach on the planet, Coach Dillingham, speaks at 10:30 today, folks. I know he's doing interviews all this morning. All that coming up, plus some NFL talk today as well. Come on back, folks. The main event. Bruce Cooper coming up next. And we're back here. Main event with This guy, it's not every day I get to sit next to a legend. Oh, Dale Hellestrae's on the other side of the building. Yeah. Bruce Cooper, of course, Channel 12 for, I think we determined 34 years. 34. Nobody knows for sure out there, but joins us on Tuesdays and everything. You were just telling, you guys got me hungry with that conversation during the break.
Yeah, hosted the fourth family barbecue at our house. I wasn't going to have my wife go out and do all the grilling and stuff because I don't really cook, So went to Famous Dave's and, had a meal catered from them. So
is Famous Dave's good?
Yeah. I haven't had it in a long time. Everyone seemed to enjoy it. We had the pulled barbecue chicken, the brisket, and I believe it was the St. Louis and not the baby back ribs.
You didn't cater in from Buc-ee's, the brisket sandwich?
Hey, I saw a story on that. That's insane. I mean,
we stopped by there on Thursday on our way over to San Diego.
Well, how long did you have to wait?
There wasn't. I mean, it was busy. Don't get me wrong, but there was no lines or anything. I waited in the line for like 3 minutes for my jerky.
Yeah, I saw a story on the news where there are people who had been waiting up to like 4 hours.
Yeah, that was when it first opened.
Are you insane?
I was telling everybody. I know somebody that lives up at like I-17 in Deer Valley in that area. Works up in that area. When it first opened, left their house at like 2 a.m, went down there, stood in line, got a brisket sandwich, drove all the way back home, went to work. Well, I saw over the weekend, they went back down there again. Same thing where they just left like early in the morning, went down there just to get a brisket sandwich. And I'm like, that's dedication, man. That's dedication.
I don't know. I don't even know if I'm going to do that for Steak 44. I know.
I stopped on my way out of town. We ran into the kid's orthodontist when we were in there. So it's like you run into all your friends while you're in there. It wasn't bad, but this was Thursday morning. I hear on the weekends it's still packed and stuff like that. But yeah. I mean, it's just a glorified, mini Walmart.
It's insane. I remember at 12 when a place like In-N-Out came here, or a place like White Castle came here.
Yeah,
I mean,
they'd
have these lines that went forever. I'm like, dude, there's no way.
Yeah, White Castle had like 6-hour waits. Well,
yeah,
we worked
drive
right
from Yuma, and
I had to change my way into the radio station back then because we drove by the White Castle, and I had to change my way into work because the line was so long and shut down roads.
Yeah, it was
for like a month.
Ridiculous. Are you kidding me?
For sliders that just make you want to throw up afterwards. Yeah. All right, whatever. If you say so. But other than the 4th of July, did you see fireworks by chance?
Dude, I'm so not into that anymore.
Really?
I'm not into that.
You didn't go anywhere, huh?
No. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the wife and I hosted the barbecue, and we all watched some movies. There was a movie. What was the name of this movie that we watched? I'm so bad with names.
Well, describe it. Who's in it? Describe it.
I couldn't.
You can't even do that.
I tell you who was in it. It was Sandra Bullock, and
a rom-com.
As your
A rom-com?
No, I think it was the Unforgivable.
Okay.
Yeah, Unforgivable. So, I guess her parents got killed or something. I can't remember if they got killed or they ran it. Yeah, I think they got killed. And anyway, so she's raising her 5-year-old sister. And naturally, she can't pay the rent and stuff like that. So they come to take her, and the sheriff is coming in to get him, and she's like barricaded herself in, and she said, "You can't come. You're not going to take us."
Yeah,
and she knows they're going to CPS or whatever, and
because she was in prison for a while in that movie.
Well,
right?
Yeah, because what happened was, and you don't learn this to the end. You just know that she went to prison.
Spoiler alert! Go ahead.
Yeah, she went to prison for shooting the sheriff who came in to get him.
Yeah,
and as it shows at the end, it's actually the 5-year-old sister that killed her, killed the sheriff. But so she's not going to let, drop down on her 5-year-old sister. She took the blame for it. So as you watch the whole thing evolve, it was pretty good. I'd never seen it before. Thought it was pretty good.
You thought it was good? Yeah. I'm not a Sandra Bullock fan. I'd rather watch Pedro.
Dude, what is wrong with you? I mean, she did an excellent job in that movie.
Steve is so wrong. Steve is so wrong.
Her and Ben Affleck. I would rather have a stick shoved in my eye repeatedly than watch anything they're in. But that's just my take. Robert says, does McGregor show up? That's the big question, Robert. He's still got time to back out of this. Okay. And then Ethan says, I think McGregor gets hurt during this fight. That is true. His last fight, he got hurt too. think he broke his ankle or something. Are you going to watch the McGregor fight this weekend?
Dude, I am not a UFC fan at all.
You're not?
Mean, absolutely not. My brother drives me insane with his passion for the sport.
Right.
I mean, dude.
They're passionate fans,
yeah. He's very passionate.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I used to watch boxing, coming up. But I just could never cross over to UFC. I tried it.
I couldn't either. And then we have Lou on. He's going to lose on Friday this week, by the way. That's why we're doing a Friday show. We'll talk more about that tomorrow because it's a limited show on Friday. But Lou's going to come on Friday. And but since we've had him on, he's a gambling guy that follows UFC and handicaps it and stuff like that. It piqued my interest. So at first I just have it on and be like, this is stupid. I was with you. Like, this is dumb. This is just too brutal. This is ridiculous. But as I've come to understand how they fight, the way he talks about it and what he says about it, and I know what they're doing now, it's actually become pretty interesting to me. For the most part, there's a lot I don't like about it.
To each his own.
Yeah, but I'm not one of those fanatic fans that are out there where people lose their minds about it. From that perspective. But here's the thing for you guys. Before Big 12 Media Days today, we'll get into that. Kenny Dillingham talks at 10:30. Couple things for you, but one, I saw this on The Athletic. We got to get ready for football here, guys. July 22nd.
Yes.
Is when the Cardinals report a month from yesterday Hall of Fame game. Which I know is ridiculous, but we'll see Carson Beck in that game, assuming he's signed, right, Dale? Got to sign our quarterbacks first.
There was another guy that I saw who was a third-round pick who signed yesterday. We were thinking Beck was the last of the Mohicans. But
he's the last one on the Suns, but on the Cardinals. Okay. Sorry, I have my Suns notes up here.
Okay.
So somebody else did sign yesterday.
Look, if you guys are getting excited about Carson Beck, I mean, you guys are really, really missing the boat. My goodness.
Okay, but we're supposed to get excited about Jacoby Brissett and Minshew to win their 3 games?
There's nothing. Well, look, I'm excited about the rookie class, some of the people in the rookie class, but I'm not putting my eggs at that quarterback position. I think that's one of the really low spots on the team. When you start looking at incrementally at the positions and stuff like that, where the Cardinals have improved, I think offensively their best position is most talented position is running back. Next, you go to the receiver / tight end.
They're gonna cut a decent running back.
And the offensive line would be third on that group with the quarterback position last.
Right, and the thing is, it's fascinating because obviously, in my mind, right now, Jacoby Brissett gives them the best chance to win games.
I agree with that.
Whether you say he's the best quarterback, whether he's the most right now, I think he gives them the best chance to win games. Now, he's holding out. He's doing whatever it is he's doing, holding. Nobody, not one person has said, what is he asking for?
Yeah.
Nobody said, hey, the Cardinals offered him $15 million for the year, but a significant increase.
And he wants 30
and
or
he
something
wants
like
30.
that. The only thing we heard was they're significantly apart is what the ESPN
Yeah, but Cardinals-wise, that could be 10 and 8.
Oh, Dale, it could be a penny off. The Cardinals.
Yeah, it's bad, and honestly, I'm really not that excited about the Cardinals season. I usually get excited about football season when it rolls around, particularly when it relates to the Cardinals and the Arizona State Sun Devils. Hence some of our bets that we've made over the years. But I'm just not excited about this, and because I just feel that they've regressed at that quarterback position.
There's no doubt.
And that's a very, very key and important position. Now, if you're like the Baltimore Ravens, who have a Trent Dilfer at quarterback who just turns around and hands the ball off or just gets the ball out and quickly while your defense is standout and you go and win a Super Bowl behind Ray Lewis and company, that's a whole different subject for another day. That's not the Arizona Cardinals.
No.
And so when I look and I see that the Los Angeles Rams added some dude named Myles Garrett to their roster, I see that the Seattle Seahawks, though they have the Super Bowl champions defending Seattle Seahawks, though they have suffered a number of different personnel losses, they're still the same at quarterback.
But their personnel losses, because I was reading about their personnel losses are guys they could afford to let go because their backups were scheduled to come in and start for them over the next couple of years anyway. They got playing time the last couple of years, and they're comfortable with them coming in. Kenny Walker being the only one.
I thought Kenneth Walker was a huge difference maker.
He's the one difference.
And keep in mind, Zach Charbonneau suffered, I believe, an ACL tear late in the season, so he's not going to be available. So, but they did draft the rookie Jadarian Price out of Notre Dame. He was Jeremiah Love's backup, yeah. And so, but I looked there, and then the 49ers. I'm saying, man, Brock Purdy. I'm looking at this dude have a huge year. I mean, they bring over Mike Evans from the Tampa Bay, Ricky Pearsall. I mean, brother just can't stay healthy. But he's extremely talented.
It's that grit that they have there, Coop.
Yeah, and then they bring over Christian Kirk, and you already have Kittles at tight end. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, he's got some weapons, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. And
Coop, well, we're on Senators, and you just keep that in mind wherever you're going next. Did you ever know Brandon Ayuk at ASU?
I did.
And
he was not this aloof cannon that he is right now. I mean, I matter of fact, he was. You could say he was kind of taciturn. I mean, he was really a quiet guy.
I was going to say, you're using a lot of words. I don't even know what you mean. Quiet?
Quiet.
Okay.
Yeah, he's quiet.
Taciturn, my brain hurts.
Well, he's one of those guys that you put a mic in front of him and
that's a TV guy's words right there, folks.
And very few words come out.
Okay.
He wasn't that.
He was always quiet. That's what I remember him being. Yeah.
He wasn't that dude, but I mean, man,
he loves his Instagram
I guess
now.
when you get paid, man, I mean, it takes you to a different level of belonging.
But here's the problem: he got paid, but he hasn't gotten any of it because he doesn't want to play anymore.
I don't get it.
And he's playing it so badly that I don't know if you saw this yesterday. I think it was, but he was on Instagram saying that, I don't care what the Niners do. I'm never going to go back to them, and because he has to negotiate with them. They have his rights. They have to release him or do it. He goes, I'm not gonna go through that process. So the Niners can literally just put him on a list and keep him and never have him play football again stuff to that. And it's like, what are you doing? You've gone from getting out of the Niners to where they can keep your rights and keep you at home. And it's like, what are you doing right now? There's I hate to say it, but there's something wrong with this.
Yeah, there really is. I mean, look, he keeps going out, and the Commanders aren't going to say anything because they're not going to tamper.
Jaden Daniels unfollowed him and all that.
He keeps saying that that's where he wants to go play with Jaden Daniels, his former quarterback, and this, that, and the other. And he's like he's writing his own path to where. Yeah, but it doesn't work like that.
But on his Instagram, I saw that on Twitter somewhere. He's talking about Jaden Daniels, and I'm a grown man.
Well, Jaden Daniels unfollowed him on whatever social media.
I didn't know that part.
So then Ayuk lashed out at Jaden Daniels saying, "I made you." And stuff. That was all. I was on vacation. I was following that.
Okay, because I just saw that.
No, it's just something's happened to Brandon Ayuk where I don't know.
But he has to understand that Jaden Daniels nor the Washington Commanders can say anything about him because it would be tampering and they would be sanctioned.
Right.
So I would imagine, and here's the deal. See, Ayuk and Jaden Daniels, they've stayed in contact with each other throughout the seasons and everything like that. Even when he was in college and in the NFL, they've stayed in contact. I'm sure it's the Commanders who said, "Hey, man, you got to unfollow this dude."
Yeah. Right. I don't think you're going to get us in trouble.
But yeah. And so, and I don't know what's wrong.
It's an interesting concept there. But the reason why I bring up NFL is the Athletic did. We're starting to see this, like things to look for in training camp, and the Athletic did this. Who you added to a team, the most beneficial addition to each team out there. Now, for most teams, they have a player. For the Atlanta Falcons, they have Ian Cunningham, their general manager. And for the Cardinals, their biggest addition, they say, is Mike LaFleur.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah, that's what they say there. It's not a good sign when you add a guy like Jeremiah Love, and they do say Jeremiah Love probably should be that answer, but they're putting it on LaFleur as a new head coach there and stuff like that. But it's never good. It's never good when your head coach is the biggest addition you've had on the team.
Well,
when you won 3 games last
again,
year.
that's subjective, and I think it's idiocy anyway. I mean, the guy is not going to play a second of any game. Look, I would definitely look at some of the draft picks, and then I think they're probably their best free agent pickup was probably Isaac Ciamalo from the
left guard.
Steelers. Yeah.
Oh no, they improved that offensive line. Now they got to stay healthy. Monty's got a history of signing big name, good quality offensive linemen that just don't come in healthy.
Yeah, and his first round picks usually wind up missing half the season, if not all of it.
Those are defensive linemen.
Yeah. I just wanted to bring it up that's just kind of the focus of the Athletic, at least.
I heard this over the weekend, and right now they're in the worst 4-season stretch in Cardinals history as far as losses.
I think we lost 49 games.
Yeah, which is unbelievable because they've had some bad years.
And so, get this. They could go 10-7 next year, which they're not going to do. Even Coop's not that crazy.
Hey, come on. Brandon Beck, we believe.
But they go 10-7 next year, and it's still going to be the worst 5-year stretch in Cardinals history. And it ain't like this is a team littered with Super Bowls.
Yeah. The thing that's so bad about the Arizona Cardinals is that they can't identify, the areas that they need to put money in and get better at. Mm-hmm. They draft a lot of redundant. And I'll give you an example. Let's look at the linebacker position. They have spent so many first-round picks.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
I mean, Hassan Reddick, Zach. I'm losing his name.
Well, the guy from LSU.
That's talking about Zach that went to the Broncos.
No. Zaven Collins.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's no Zach.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Zaven Collins. Yeah, my bad. I don't know where I got Zach, but it's definitely Zaven Collins. It just finally came to me. And they just keep adding to that position group. I mean, even though Isaiah Simmons wasn't a linebacker technically, they called him the Swiss Army knife.
Well, they wanted those hybrid positions.
Yeah, and they played him more at that linebacker slot than they did at safety. But I mean, dude, look, why do you keep beating that dead horse? And they wind up letting Hassan Reddick go, and Reddick becomes a star elsewhere because the Cardinals have mismanaged his playing position.
Same problem though, position problem, because they wanted him to be a hybrid and they chose for him. And there's always this thing here. Remember in the D-backs, and it was always like, we want those sidearm guys. It's like the Arizona teams just always want to change positions, and it rarely works out for us here locally.
Yeah, and so they just continue to spin their wheels in the mud.
Yeah.
And it's the same old. I'm still a position. Look, I've been here, covered the Cardinals since they got here in '88. I've just seen a lot of bad quarterback play. And so I know the good quarterback plays when I see him. So, but the Cardinals had two older guys that came in Warner and Carson Palmer.
Off the scrap heap.
Yeah, and they're on the back end of their careers. I mean, their careers in their rearview mirror, but their intelligence and the playmakers that were placed around them elevated the Cardinals to a different level.
The playmakers.
And so when they bring in Kyler Murray, I mean, wow, you get excited. Man, here's a guy who can evade rushes, make plays off script and things like that. But they just don't put these playmakers around him for continued success. I mean, they had it going for 1 year when they had Hopkins here, and once D-Hop got hurt, I mean, everything just
it's been downhill since.
And and Kyler and him never played together again.
Yeah.
So it's just like, and now I'm looking and I'm saying, okay, Monty, you're doing something now. I mean, he goes out and gets Jeremiah Love. In free agency, brings in a guy named Tyler Algier. Look, we all watched Algier play at BYU collegiately in the Pac-12. So you have a thunder and lightning combo again. I mean, you remember when they had Chase Edmonds and James Conner?
Yeah.
Well, those were the running backs for the Cardinals, and they called themselves Thunder and Lightning.
Right.
And they offered a contrast in the backfield for the Cardinals when Kyler is ready to do his thing with D-Hop and Christian Kirk and the guy from he's playing AJ Green,
right.
and so yeah.
I was just laughing because I was like, you're gonna make me say AJ Green, aren't you?
but that was it, and so I'm just saying that Monty's building that team again, because now if you look at out wide, I'm convinced that Marvin Harrison is going to click for him. He's too good.
I don't
he's
know
too
what makes
good.
you think that's going to happen.
Yeah. But see, you got him, Michael Wilson. You got Trey McBride, and they went and got the veteran Kendrick Bourne. So they actually have some playmakers, behind center, at running back, and out wide.
Well, you'll be able to also you're going to be able to see Algier and Love in the game at the same time because you can split Love out.
Yeah, you can put in packages like that. And so I'm just saying that now for the first time that offense has been built with some playmakers again, and so now whoever is behind center, under center, they're not going to be devoid of people who they can get the ball to. Because behind Trey McBride, they have some other nice. I've always liked Higgins there. I think he's a
nice
really
contrast.
Yeah, but the Cardinals owner, at least he lets Brides know that he's giving up this week. That's what his priorities are.
That's how that started. But where the Cardinals continue to lack is on the defensive side of the ball as well. They can never hit on both sides of the ball at the same time. How many times did we see the Cardinals suffer these walk-off losses?
Oh yeah.
Look, they were 2-3 with Kyler Murray before he said no mas.
And three of those losses were
They were all walk-offs.
Yeah.
Dude, we're talking about you have the lead, and if you could either get a first down or if your defense can make a stop, you're 5-0.
Right. It wasn't like the other teams were in field goal position.
No.
They drove down the field to get in.
Absolutely.
In that time. I know. My heart can't handle this stuff.
So you could say that they're close, they're getting there, but just like our U.S. Men's soccer team, I'm watching that, dude. You're not ready.
No,
they're not ready for the big stage.
No. But boy, it was fun while it lasted. I know we got to take a break.
Yep.
We can come back and talk about that.
Do top of the hour here. Well, we'll get Coop's opinion on the U.S. national. That's my take. Is they're not at that level. They hit the level that they're good enough to get to, and then they flamed out. But we do have to talk college football, a Big 12 media day. Not a lot to talk about now, but we will have stuff to talk about tomorrow. Your D-backs. Dale's back on the bandwagon after last night. Climbed back up that railing to get up there.
Mr. Fott.
Suns did something Coop I know how to be happy about yesterday, signing a certain player to a two-way deal, but they also did something with their front office that I find intriguing as well. We'll talk about that. Come on back, folks. We'll talk about the Phoenix Spartans coming up as well. With Bruce Cooper. Come on back. Second hour coming up next.
Than I ever have.
Yeah, welcome back, Dale. Dale's impressed with that. And then he won't watch it again and he won't even watch it in 4 years because it's in Morocco.
If it's in Morocco, I ain't getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning to watch it.
Late night games there as well. Of course, second hour main event with Bruce Cooper here on this Tuesday. Of course, a local legend around these parts and his sports knowledge and who he interacted with for 34 years over at Channel 12 as well. And, it's just World Cup soccer. We talked about it earlier, but the United States team is good enough to be a top 16 team in the world. They're not good enough to compete with they're definitely the top 5, but probably maybe the top 10 teams. They just can't be they'd have to play a perfect game to beat that. That's my takeaway. Yours?
Yeah, look, when I've been, like I said, been covering the U.S. men's national team whenever they're in the Olympics or the World Cup, and they've never had that miracle on ice moment.
Right.
They just haven't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and so I just look and I saw last night. I said, these self-inflicted errors. I think the biggest being the goalkeeper coming out. All he has to do is kick the darn ball. You clear it out of your zone. Yeah. He stubbed his foot in the ground. I mean, who does that?
So now, wow, you know who does that? Down at the park, your local park, you're playing a pickup game.
Yeah, and so what happens? It leads to a Belgium striker being able to kick the ball into a net, the USA net that has no goalkeeper.
Right.
Because he's out of position now.
Right.
I mean, dude, and so it just led me to this. I said, you know what? This team, this U.S. men's national team, they're just not ready for the big stage. When the lights get brighter and the stage gets higher, they melt. And so I'm just saying to myself, okay, to me, this appears to be an experience thing or lack thereof.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why don't they? And I don't know what they do because I don't follow them that closely.
Right.
And I'm going to say this, and maybe that someone can text and say, "Coop, they already do that." I would go to France. I'd go to Spain. I'd go to Argentina, and I'd play friendlies there because see what happens is those stadiums are going to be. Do they really? Okay, so that's
not the problem, Coop.
It seemed like that the stage got big, and they're not used to these big crowds.
Yeah, no. Okay, you're on the right track there, but what you're missing is, like for the Belgian players, they all play high-level club soccer, meaning Premier League. They play in games of this size routinely every week with large crowds, with lots of stuff on the line, they play high-level soccer every time they step on the pitch, usually. The U.S. players don't get that same advantage overall. Did you notice yesterday when Belgium subbed in a couple guys in the second half? They were subbing in guys that could have started for their team, and they just benched them that game. And they could bring them in later to give them rest.
Well, I think
the U.S. is bringing in bench guys. What? The problem is that the U.S. doesn't have – playing friendlies against those guys is going to give you talent, but it also starts – to me, the Belgian team wasn't overwhelmed by being in the round of 16 game in a World Cup because they play in big environments all the time. The U.S. was. But it starts bigger. It starts bigger than that.
How do you get more experience playing on the big stage?
You need these young players to go into soccer and go into these big camps and stuff.
Well, you're saying big camps. I mean, it seems like to me a sold out 80 to 95,000 seat stadium would be more beneficial than playing in a camp. I don't know what a camp.
No. So like Belgian players, they come up and like when they're 8, 9 years old, they get plucked out as good soccer players and they go into these camps and they grow up playing soccer and getting their education. And then when they get up, now they're playing high level. They're good enough to play high level Premier League soccer, which would be like the NFL, right? Like take a college kid. I'll equate it this way. Take a college kid, put him in the NFL. It's a little bit of a struggle, right? Brighter lights, things to that effect. Even if they have the talent to be there, little bit of a learning adjustment.
Exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying.
The Belgian team walked out on that field yesterday because they play in that environment all the time, weekly.
Okay, well then,
whereas the U.S. players don't.
If it's not the friendlies, then they need to play. That's what they need. They need because to me, I thought that there were 3 different goals that Belgium scored that were a result of either our inexperience or our
mistakes,
our being frightened on the big stage.
Because you're on the right track.
Yeah. And so I don't know what that is, but if it's those camps, because I'm not familiar with it.
The Belgian players that you saw yesterday have played more soccer in big time stages than anybody on the American side.
But
so they walked onto that pitch yesterday just like it's just another game. Whereas the U.S., in my opinion, went out and went, oh, my God.
From the opening kick, they were frightened.
I agree with you. That's the difference.
So here's the thing. Coop, until the younger part of this changes, because you know this as well as Steve and I do. If you're a premier athlete, what sport are you steered towards? Football, basketball, or baseball? If you're a premier athlete,
sure.
We don't have our premier athletes that hey, let's all put them in soccer.
Well, a lot of our people are what President Trump would call birthright players.
Oh, brother.
Well, they are. I mean, and see, I disagreed with this too. I mean, I guess Flo Balogun was supposed to be our best player, and he gets a red card. Now, look. I want our viewers to understand this. I was really conflicted. I mean, first of all, coming in, I'm rooting for the North American countries. I'm rooting for Mexico, Canada, and the USA. Okay. And so, starting yesterday, we're down to just the USA because Canada and Mexico's already been eliminated. But when the President Trump made this call to the FIFA president and actually changed their minds and rescinded the red card and allowed Balogun to play, dude, I'm like, no. If you follow the history, you already know that this FIFA president granted Trump a special Peace Prize trophy or whatever it was. So they had this friendship. Mm-hmm. Dude, favoritism should not come into play here.
It comes into play all the time with FIFA.
Should not. It should
all the time with FIFA.
Well, I don't know.
FIFA's a corrupt organization that they take money. They constantly change their rules. They let Ronaldo play in the first 2 rounds of the tournament when he should have been suspended. They allowed that, and you're not upset about that.
Well, see, here's the deal.
It's ridiculous to be upset about what they did. It's ridiculous.
I'm just saying what I saw. See, as you guys look. First of all, understand this. Just like Steve was trying to educate me on the camp, I don't follow this stuff. I don't follow soccer, but I do know what looks bad to my eyes. The optics look horrible.
Are you supposed to get the call correct? Or are you supposed to get the call wrong? Here's the answer. You have the VAR. Are you supposed to get the call correct? Or is the call supposed to be done right? They fixed the wrong. He should not have gotten a red card in that situation.
Here's the deal. And I'm going to explain this to you. And I'm going to make an analogy with this. There is a system. The VAR is like the video assistant referee. Okay, that's what it said. The acronym for that stands for. They went through that process. And they determined that Balogun committed a foul
and it was the wrong call.
Get a red card. Regardless, that's what they did. That's what they did. All right. So then the FIFA has this committee that reviews all red cards. They upheld that deal, and so now Balogun has to sit.
They don't have a committee. It's just what the rule is. They went to the committee for the rule number 27. They have a right
to overturn that. They didn't. They upheld it. This is the language and everything that I'm at. But Dale, hold on.
Yeah, because
and so now, Trump makes a phone call and it's overturned. So you know what? And look, I know it's not. It could be apples and oranges, and it probably is. But I felt like Belgium during the 2007 run of the Phoenix Suns to the playoffs. There's this rule that you can't, if there's a ruckus on the floor, you can't go onto the floor. Mm-hmm. Well, they determined, Commissioner Stern determined that after looking at the video, that Boris Diaw and Amari Stoudemire stepped off the bench. Mm-hmm. And so now they're suspended for the next game. Mm-hmm. Well, dude, keep watching. Everyone shows the video. Even Colangelo went, look, Tony Parker and Tim Duncan stepped off the bench as well.
Right.
Why aren't they? So now you're pissed because you feel like favoritism is being shown. The same rules don't apply. And so I'm not aware of any of a history of this. All I'm telling you is that the optics to me of this look bad.
But here's listen to what you're complaining about. And I'll let Del talk. Listen to what you're complaining about for a second there. The Suns were wrong by David Stern.
No.
Because it wasn't put out there properly.
I'm telling you, I felt like Belgium, because see, you feel like the rules aren't applying. They're not the same. Favoritism's being shown.
Okay, I got
that. That's all I'm
okay,
saying. So I'm just telling you that favoritism is being shown here, but a phone call the president makes.
No, okay,
it happens
so here's what I take out. First of all, the way I've approached it, Bruce, is you and I don't know enough about soccer to be critical of.
I admit that.
And that's why I've kind of stayed out of that a little bit.
But the optics look bad.
You can say that, and again, a lot of that is driven by your politics.
I want to see the best players on the field.
No, because again, whoever made the phone call, that they didn't. I don't want to get into all that part of it. I'm just saying that I've heard it from experts on both sides, just like the Suns and the Spurs. I've heard it on both sides that. Boy, the VAR is not there. You can't slow motion things to give a red card. You can't. You could do it for other things, but not give a red card. I've heard all sorts of stuff. So, and then the last part is Belgium was a better team to begin with. Whether you could have given Ronaldo to the American team, that did not change.
Russia was the better team on the ice in 1980, but U.S. won. So that's why they play the games,
right?
And so all I'm saying is that I don't like the appearance.
Yeah, that's
and
fine.
Look, I'm rooting. I want to root for the USA. That's my country. Yeah. I want to see Balogun play. I want to see the best players out there. But if you break the rule, I don't want that rule amended for my team.
Okay,
I don't.
Okay, so when you say that, because you brought it up, did you think the Suns deserve to have their guys suspended? In the moment.
Okay. Yes. By the rule of the game. But I also, if you play that same rule, Tony Parker and Tim Duncan ain't playing that game either. So now it's all good in the hood. But when you allow the same, you don't apply the rule properly.
Evenly.
Evenly. Dude, I got a major problem.
Yeah.
And so Steve's telling me that this rule has not been applied.
Five players have had this happen where the red cards have been redone since this rule was into effect.
I'm not aware of that.
Right, and that's why I try and stay out of it a little bit.
And so, even if that's the case, the optics look bad. And I'm telling you, I'm just like, dude, stay out of it. I mean, for crying out loud, I don't want any favoritism. I don't want to be. I want to win fairly.
No, see, but here's my point in this is, if you're going to have replay, get the call right. And I'm tired of watching replay in every sport out there blow the calls when they're supposed to get it right. So you need another mechanism to fix the idiots in the replay that can't get it right when they can stare at television screens, high-definition television screens. Fix it. Get it right. That's all I want you to do is get it right. I don't care.
I'll tell you the best one is baseball.
I've been watching baseball, and I don't see – I've never seen a problem. Even when it's – a split hair, they do the right thing. Yeah. They stay with the call on the field.
Right.
I mean, I haven't seen anything in baseball that's wrong. And then in the NBA, dude, I can't argue with that.
Well,
I really can't. I mean, what have I seen in the NBA
Well, again, I don't know if I can do
flagrant one fouls are always called wrong.
I can't.
But that's not a video replay.
Yeah.
We always go to the video replay.
The ref stands in front of that 70s bargain, and they go, "We're going to look at this as a flagrant," and then they go look at it.
Yeah.
And then they still call it flagrant, and you're like, all the guy did was look at the guy.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll acknowledge that.
That's where I get into this. Is I could care less if he played or not. I could care less if his red card was rescinded. But get the call right. And I think they got it right. That's where I stand on it. Plus, FIFA's not stupid. The reason why that rule's in there, they want the best players on the field at all times in this event specifically.
Well,
that's what they want.
And I think all leagues have a little bit of that in them.
They're not stupid.
You don't want a Super Bowl without Tom, that New England's playing in, and you don't have Tom Brady. And
because you don't want a Game 6 Suns Spurs. You don't want that without the Suns, two of their best players out there on the court, because what it do? It taints it and annoys everybody and stuff like that. The easier decision is to let them go out there and play, and then say it's full court. Then everybody's at full strength and stuff like that. That's just where I lean on that side and everything. But it doesn't matter. They got their butts kicked. So.
Yeah. Like I said,
they're not ready for prime time.
No.
And I think that is a travesty within itself.
But
I mean,
Coop,
I've been saying the same thing since for the past 40 years.
Okay, but Coop, here, again, and I think a lot of people do this. I'll say that every 4 years. I'll say that. But what's the solution? How do you change that? Because not like other countries have that many better athletes than we do. What's the solution? It was, in my mind, soccer will never, ever crack the top 3/4 sports in America.
Bill, I think you hit the nail on the head as it relates to the U.S. men's national team. The reason why our women can win a World Cup or win a gold medal in the same sport of soccer is because they don't have a comparable alternative.
Right.
Here in America, I mean, the pigskin, that football is number one here. Right. And so the best athletes matriculate to play that sport, not soccer. Yeah. And so we wind up with a lot of I guess foreign players, if you will. I mean, who are birthright citizens that fill out our U.S. men's national team. And that's all good in the hood. But if them getting better means, spending more money to get in these camps that Steve's talking about, then do it.
I mean, I was reading a story this morning, like here in America, young kids, when they're good at soccer, they can join, it's kind of like in basketball. These top high school kids, these top junior high kids, they get filtered into these schools where they go and they get scholarships and they go into these basketball schools. They get an education there, but they're there to play basketball.
Like the academies here,
the academies and stuff. Yeah. But they get paid to go there. There's not that mechanisms here to go to. If you're a really good soccer player as a kid, you want to do it, you go join a club and you're spending $20,000, $30,000 a year to join that club. Over there, Brazil, Europe, they're going to your parents and going, we'll pay you guys X amount of money for your kid to come join us here, play the sport, grow up, things to that effect. They pay them, and here it's the opposite. And for it's that stuff. It's the experience as you grow up and being in those bright lights and things to that.
For every Ronaldo out there, that comes through the system, there's 500 guys who don't pan out, but yet they're spending money and doing those. Again, I don't think America will ever, in our lifetimes, Coop, you and I don't got that much longer to live, but in our lifetimes, approach the top 10, top 8 countries in the world in soccer, just because it's our 4th most popular sport if you're going to put it up there.
I don't even think it's 4th.
But you're going to put football, basketball, baseball, and probably hockey.
Well, the other side of it is our MLS is just straight trash compared to all the aging superstars come here for money to live in the United States and stuff. Every other, even the bad leagues like the Italian leagues, their top tier league is better than the MLS is and things like that. And Italy can't even qualify for a World Cup.
To that point, I remember the phrase "bend them on Beckham."
Yeah, bend like Beckham.
Because Beckham came and played for the LA team here.
Yes.
Yeah, and everybody else was making like $600,000 a year. Like the best player, the Beckham shows up and it's $25 million a year or something.
But think about this, Scoop. Think about just recent names, and you could go through the annals of history. But what happens if Jeremiah Love started playing soccer? As a freshman in high school.
He'd be fantastic.
What if Marvin Harrison, or I'm just talking about Cardinal, but you named some of these athletic guys, if they were playing soccer from the time they were 8 years old, and that was their calling.
Well, see, I think if you look internationally, when young kids are growing up, they can turn on their TVs and they see that type of soccer being played.
Well,
in America, when we turn on our TVs, we see the gridiron being played. And so that's where you matriculate to.
They grew up idolizing. All those Belgian players grew up idolizing players in in those leagues and wanted to be like them.
They have their jerseys and stuff like that. Yeah. That is not the same dynamic here. And so all I'm saying is that I didn't know that our U.S. men's national team was going and playing these friendlies in these big stadiums. If these camps that Steve's talking about, then hey, look, I'd put the money. It all comes down to this: put the resources, the money behind it.
Right.
It'll change.
Right.
Yeah, my money's not going to be there for that. It's just not going to be.
Well, then we don't need to have our expectations change.
Well, that's the thing, and I think all of us. I'll just talk for me. Me. Every 4 years, I take an interest in hockey. In the Olympics, every 4 years I take interest in gymnastics or the fourth steeplechase or whatever. Yeah. But that's about it.
Yeah.
And so that's a good call that you made. The fact that what do kids in America do? Every Saturday you wake up, there's college football.
Mm-hmm.
Every Sunday there's NFL football. over there, it's soccer Saturdays and Sundays, and
during the week.
And during the week and all that. But we got local things to talk about. Since we can't figure out the problems.
I want you to think about this during this commercial break. USA Today came out with the Big 12 preseason media poll. Everybody has Texas Tech number 1. I'm just going to warn you now, folks. Everybody has Texas
without
Tech
Sorsby?
Yes, without Sorsby. And their regular quarterback. The other guy's hurt. We don't know when he's going to play. They have BYU second, USA Today does, Utah third, Houston 4th, Arizona 5th, TCU 6th, Kansas State 7th, Arizona State 8th, and then so on, and so on.
With the exception of Texas Tech, I think a lot of those rankings are based on quarterbacks that are returning. See, Arizona has Fafita, fifth-year senior, returning. BYU's quarterback was a freshman last year. I think his name was Kent.
Number 44.
I remember saying,
something like that.
He wasn't supposed to start, but they lost.
Bear something.
Yeah, they lost the one kid who had to transfer out for ethical reasons.
And so at Utah, Devin Dampier and his
Dampier's
freshman backup. I mean, and so with Arizona State, everyone's new there. Right. They don't have a single. So I get all that. And with Texas Tech, even though Texas Tech is uncertain at quarterback, I think their defense had
it might be better.
Yeah, their defense may even be better than last year.
You're supposed to think about this during the commercial break.
No, he's thinking about it now as he's going. But I mean, it's interesting because I'm seeing a lot of people rate Arizona State in that middle range, 8, 9 type range.
I sense a bet coming up.
Yeah, is that the quarterback? We'll talk about it coming back. Kenny Dillingham talks at 10:30 this morning. I'll give you intel on that. But I'm intrigued by these polls I'm seeing from Big 12 doesn't do a poll anymore because they embarrassed themselves that first year with all these new teams in there. With Arizona State last and everything. But it is interesting to talk about. So we'll talk about that. Diamondbacks, little NBA news with the Suns. Coop was probably that yipping and yelling and jumping up and down yesterday. Might have been because of a signing they did there, if you heard Coop doing that. So come on back, folks. The main event. And we're back here, main event with this guy, the local legend, Bruce Cooper, in the house. He stopped yelling at me about calling him that, by the way. So I think it's looking good on him now as he goes around. Really quick on, don't forget, join us on our YouTube chat out there as well. Robert says, wasn't the dude with the man bun, Reams, like 58? Yeah, he's like 38 or something like that. He's one of the elder statesmen on the U.S. team. He said he moved around like it to me. And then Ethan says Egypt is up by 1 in this game. They kicked off already for the game today? I thought it was later on. But that's what Ethan says. Robert says other countries don't put resources into women's soccer either. Well, it's that. Other countries don't, I'll put it this way. Other countries don't necessarily let women do things, I'll put it that way. You know, it's a little bit harder for a girl to go out and play sports in some other countries. They're pushed into other things, for instance, as well. And then going back to football here, Ethan says, the Big 12 and Monster Energy have entered a multi-year sponsorship agreement, announced at Big 12 Media Day. So every team, guys, is going to have a patch on their jerseys. A little Monster Energy signal here coming up. So the era of patches on jerseys are here.
Commercialize the leagues.
Yeah.
Well, hey, a little bit more money, get closer to the Big Ten and SEC.
But that green logo with the three, the claw marks on it, just isn't going to look good on some of those uniforms. They
have different color,
like the maroon.
Do
they?
Yeah.
You got to blend it in with the maroon good. You can't just have three green stripes down the side. And then where's it going on your jersey is my question. Is it going on the front part? Is it going on the side? That'll determine, too, if it's annoying or not in my eyes. But I'm just saying, the era of commercialization on they're going to be co-branded logos appearing on the football field as well, and basketball court is where they're going to be also.
So tell me this, because I'm thinking about it right now. All the NBA teams have their little sponsor guys on there, whoever it is.
But like Sunspur PayPal, I think they still are. Right?
Whatever it is, but it's like it doesn't distract me. A lot of times I don't even notice anymore.
That's it. But the basketball, it's just literally it looks almost like a nameplate. It's not big and large. A Monster Energy logo, we'll see what it is, but a Monster Energy logo is a little bit bigger than just a nameplate that says the company name on it.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
But I agree with you. I mean, we all complain about this, and then I'm also the guy that watches NASCAR, and I don't even notice all the logos on their jerseys.
No, because you're watching the racing.
Yeah, because when they get out and talk, I don't even pay attention to it anymore, type of a thing. So it is interesting, but that came out of Big 12 Media Day. We were just talking about the polling that's out there. I see a lot of Arizona being ranked high, meaning top 5 in that range. I see a lot of Arizona State in the middle. I agree with you. It has to do with quarterback situation mainly. Lots of unknowns for ASU going into this year as well, type of a situation. But I'm just shocked Arizona's so high. I know they got Fafita back and all that, but
their wide receiver, their offense should still be pretty good.
Right.
I mean, Trace Spivey and some of the receivers they have out there, Fafita will be able to do that. But they lost their entire secondary to the NFL.
Yeah.
And so their defense is greatly depleted. Their defense actually was the biggest surprise last year
for the rebound.
Right. And so, I just don't think that they can replicate that because unlike Texas Tech, they didn't have any. Their depth wasn't ready to step up and play at that same level. So I'll let Dale know right now. I'm all up for another ASU U of A.
All right. Well, you said,
and I'll tell you this.
Without knowing ASU's depth chart or anything.
Well, absolutely. And I'll say this, that I know if you look at all the media and all the projections, they look at Cutter Boley, the transfer from Kentucky, as being ASU starting quarterback.
Right.
I'm telling you right now, I've seen the kid. I've seen the kid play on tape. Because I went and looked at some up at Kentucky, and then I've watched some of the spring ball stuff that's taking place. He's not better than Mikey King, and because I covered Mikey King when he played at Chandler High School.
Right.
I expect Mikey King to be ASU starting quarterback. I'll be surprised if he's not.
Yeah, there's breaking news for you. You said it, and to be fair, you said it a couple of months ago as well when they signed him in. I agree with you. I mean, Keene. I mean, he played at, what was it, San Diego State? He played at San Jose State. One of those.
He went and played at University of Central Florida. Then he transferred to Fresno State.
Fresno State. That's because he played here. Here against ASU. Beat him.
Beat ASU. Yeah.
And so,
but he reminds me so much.
Well, he went to Michigan
Brock
last year.
Purdy in his preparation. You don't catch this kid not prepared. He's a student of the game. Even though he's on the small side, the short side, he can get out. He can make plays outside of the pocket, make plays off script, and then he can stay in and just beat you in the pocket because he's so cerebral.
I question his decision making though. I mean, going from Central Florida to San Jose State, fine, got plenty of playing time there, but then he went to Michigan and just sat on the bench, did nothing, and it's like, well, why'd you do that move for, Tiger? Can help you out at all.
Can't answer that, but I do.
I just kids like that make me question a little bit of what they're doing.
I do expect him to be the ASU starting quarterback, and I expect him to be very successful. Now, look, Arizona State has gone out and they've their depth at wide receiver is so much better than it has been, because you basically had Jordan Tyson and then his underlings.
Disappointing after that.
Yeah, but they're deeper there. They're running backs. I mean, Kyson Brown. I mean, they have some depth there. They got a couple of freshmen that have come in. Carday Mack. I like this Arizona State team. Particularly on the offense side of the ball, and they do return some nice pieces on the defensive side. So I think ASU can surprise. I really do.
I think you got to separate this year too. I'm going to tell ASU fans now, you got to separate this year, because their non-conference schedule becomes tough because you go to Texas A&M and then you go to London for Kansas.
Sure.
So I'm expecting them to do nothing at Texas A&M. A loss there, it affects your playoff thing, but let's talk about winning the Big 12 first, because then you'll get in, type of thing. But you got to predict, because I can see a lot of ASU fans going, "Oh, we got destroyed at Texas A&M."
No,
and then went to London.
Hey, let me ask you this: I still remember when Arizona State went to Texas A&M.
I'm just saying a possibility.
I'm not looking at any blowout. I mean,
no, I'm just saying possibility of a loss in that situation.
I wouldn't be surprised if Arizona State walked away from
that's a tough place. That's a tough place
to play. Now, this is summer Coop.
I know.
All right, this is where I think that 112 degrees does something to the cerebralness of Mr. Bruce Cooper, because he starts spouting all sorts of nonsense.
Hey, let's put it to you like this.
Tough place to play, and you're leaving to go to London right afterwards. You can't tell me that's not on your mind.
You can only play them one at a time. I mean, you can't play London before you
sometimes
at College State. Well, they're not going to do that. They're going to go into College State because they know this is a tough place to play. Like you said, they're the 12th man.
Oh yeah.
Arguably
the loudest stadium.
If ASU can keep the kissing down in the crowd, if you keep the kissing down in the crowd, that means you're winning.
Now remember, A&M, we used to always say they were so stupid that they have to have yell practice on Friday night at midnight to go over their cheers, and they get 50,000 people in the stadium.
Yeah,
how crazy is that?
Yeah.
But Coop, it begs another question, and we can move on to unless you want to talk other football. You're telling me that all the prognosticators are wrong, and that ASU will have a better record than Arizona this year.
That's what I'm telling you.
You're telling me.
I'm telling you that.
And you're willing to put
your
money.
Dude, it is July 7th, and you guys are going to do a bet already?
Same bet as last year.
Same bet as last year. Yeah. All right. Now I'll have to count on you if I happen to lose to get that same table, because I ain't got that full. I mean, if I give some funky name, they ain't even going to let me make a reservation.
Yeah, brother. Let's see. If you lose, huh? Okay.
Now, are we gonna? Is Steve gonna be able to tag along again? Even though he's not in this, not putting anything.
I offered to pay last time. I offered to help out, and I was told no.
Steve, you tag along.
All right. Well, I can tell you this: if I lose, Steve, I ain't paying for you, so you can go on.
I said I paid for myself last year. I know Bruce is a nicer guy than you are.
Yes, there's no doubt about that.
I had cash. I tried to hand Bruce cash, and he wouldn't take it from me as well. Just for the record, there, really quick, just to wrap up media day. It starts today. It started already at 8 a.m. our time. Kenny Dillingham talks at 10:30. I don't think we're going to get any fireworks or anything out of this Big 12 thing. It's a 2-day event. Arizona is tomorrow. Today you got ASU, Baylor, BYU, UCF, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, Colorado, and Houston coming up today for those of you interested in that as well, on who gets to talk.
Coop, did you used to cover these when you were 12? Did you actually go or no?
It was the Pac-12 we did, and they did it in Los Angeles.
Yeah, so it's a lot easier to get to.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. This is in Frisco, Texas. Like, to get there, man, you can't drive unless you want to be in the car forever. It's not a quick turnaround. Whereas LA, you can literally land, do it, turn around and fly back.
And then the Pac-12, they started doing it in Vegas. Yeah. So either way, Los Angeles, Vegas.
But Texas is it's a difficult place for a lot of us to get to.
It's a 2-hour flight. There's an hour time change, coming back is easy.
But you got a 5-hour drive either way.
Yeah.
When you land
it was a lot easier.
When you land in Dallas, to go to Frisco, it's a long drive.
Let me tell you. See, you learn this from our photographers there. It doesn't matter what station they're at. See, even when you fly, now you have to pack a lot of your gear,
and
stuff, put it on the airplane, and then you load it up a couple carts, and then you rent a car, and you're loading up in there.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas they have their own units from the stations, and all they have to do is get in that car. Because when it's L.A. and Vegas, they said
they just drive.
They just drive.
Yeah,
rather do that.
That's the thing.
And everything's already in place.
Right.
And so there's not a lot of packing. So you can't do that with Texas. It's just
that's the other side
too
of
far.
it.
Yeah, but hey, Coop. I mean, I know that you're a photographer and you work with some really good ones. I remember Brad Gass,
Yes.
and I'm sure there's other guys, but you never put your hand on a suitcase to help your boys.
Hey, let me tell
Well,
you
he did. He just had the car with the AC going.
Look, they and so I mean, let's say some of these trips, like you have to take your editing gear with you.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother. So the editing gear is a lot more sensitive. They don't want that just thrown around and stuff like that. So they would actually pay and put Fragile with FedEx. So that stuff would get FedEx because with that because you know how the baggage people just throw your stuff and it's too expensive. So I'm not packing that stuff. They're doing all that. You're right.
Coop just goes and hops in the van and AC on, make sure the AC's on while they're all sitting in the back sweating, loaded up. But that's the thing, like you said, it's Frisco is like an hour from the airport. It's not like it's right around the corner.
Right.
On top of it and stuff.
It's weird.
More of a hassle.
I could see downtown Dallas, but anyway.
You got to do it in Jerry stuff. Come on, let's be honest about it.
All right.
Hey, really quick, Suns extend Bartelstein for the Suns and Mercury. Of course, he's CEO of both of those enterprises. The right-hand man there for Matt Ishbia. Right choice, Scoop.
Well, look, I've met Josh Bartelstein once. I had to MC an event in which the late Al McCoy was the keynote speaker. And the event was on the center floor of what they now call the Phoenix Suns mortgage matchup center.
Right.
And
the morgue.
And so Josh was also on program to get up and so he was really a nice guy. Sat and talked with him, but I don't really know him outside of that.
I don't think a lot of people do.
One deal, and so
I think he's a quiet guy.
So I can't tell you what it is that he necessarily does. Yeah. I know he's a CEO of both the Suns and the Mercury.
He's not just he's shaping the business side, but more importantly, he's also over the basketball operations. But when you look at it, I just
don't know how much input he has relative to the personnel of each one, and that to me, that's the most important thing.
Yes.
And so I'm okay with it.
I think it's setting the culture.
I don't really know him.
I think he's more like a Derek Hall type of a guy, where he's over everything.
Derek Hall's a great guy,
and you set the tone, and then you let them do their job. I think he's had success. I mean, the Mercury made the final last year. They're not very good this year, but they think they got the right coach there at least, and obviously they think the Suns have the right coaching staff with the way they've recovered, and the GM as well. So in terms of the turn, I agree with you. I don't think a lot of people know Bartles. I think he's kind of keeps to himself, to be honest with you.
Well, but
he's moving in the right direction,
and that's not a bad place to be. You know, again, he's not caught in any scandals. He's not.
The Sophie Cunningham one kind of rears his ugly head every once in a while. He denies.
Well, anyway.
Oh, that was interesting.
that popped up a couple of weeks ago, too.
Hey, look, I ain't mad at him. You know?
No, I just wondering, I mean, because you're right, he's kind of a quiet guy, but I'll say this, there's no doubt the Suns of Mercury, although Mercury taking a step back this year, but they're moving. The voice is there, and the voice is moving in the right direction. And most importantly, he's Matt Ishbia's guy. And if Matt Ishbia is not happy with him with the way it's going, so he's doing everything that Matt Ishbia wants. I'm not upset about it. I'm not torn up about it. I'm just curious because you just don't know a lot about this guy and what he does. Derek Hall, he hires the people and lets them do their thing.
But he's also a public persona.
That's the difference. Bartelstein's not.
Hall talks a lot more than Bartelstein.
When was the last time you saw Josh? If he started talking right now in your ears, you'd be like, "Who's that?"
Yeah.
You'd have no idea what he sounds like.
I'm not even sure exactly what he looks like because you met him up close. But we had a special teams coach with the Dallas Cowboys, a guy named Steve Hoffman, actually kicking coach, quality control guy. So my whole goal here is the last 20 years, and when I get fired, Jerry Jones goes, "Who's Steve Hoffman? I don't want anybody to know who I am."
Yeah, because the only time he's getting mentioned is when something horribly wrong goes wrong, right? Kobe Bryant signs a 2-way NBA contract to return to the Suns.
I like it. He's a tremendous shooter.
You're a big fan of his.
I am. I mean, look, it's no joke what he did in college. I mean, I think he was
Kentucky.
The best 3-point shooter his final season in college. I think he hit like 47% of those. And with the Phoenix Suns in like 12 games, I think he was 13 of 30 is the number I saw.
But he had a really good final game, that last game of the year when they benched everybody
That's when he got his extended play.
Yeah.
He knew he wasn't coming out. They were there. Him and Kamal, I think Malowich had 18 and 14 with 3 blocks in that game as well. So,
look at Kubo.
But Brea can shoot. The fella can flat out shoot the ball. The Suns need, and so I think that he's going to have another one of those seasons in which he doesn't play a lot because Suns went out and signed one of the best veteran 3-point shooters in the game in Luke Kennard. Kennard can shoot his behind.
Well, then Bridges is 33% from the 3-point line as well. On top of that,
what Bridges does more so than anything, he brings athleticism and explosiveness to that side. I mean, he's I go back to their play-in game with Miami. They're up by a point. Miami driving to shoot the game-winning shot. He out of nowhere he comes up and he blocks it.
Yeah.
And they win the game. And now they're in the playoffs. And so he brings that. That's something that you weren't going to get out of Grayson Allen or Royce O'Neal. Neither one of them play above the rim.
I told Dale what's impressing me most about the Suns, and I think what I like about what they're doing with their 2-way contracts, they're using it as a development.
Sure.
Hey,
sure.
G League, but you're going to come up here and play some games. Let's get you improved up here as well. The idea being, so he could be like a, I just forgot his name, Gillespie, right? Where, hey, you're just on the bench, you're not playing a lot, but when you get your opportunity, take advantage of it, and you're developing over 2-3 years, and eventually he gets into there where he's a bench guy and can develop. I like the way they're doing it. But I said what I like about this Suns team, because it's rare we see this in Arizona. They went out and they targeted their guys in the free agency and everything, and they just went and got them. Every other team around here tends to go, well, we got to wait for the first wave of guys to go off, and we'll get the scraps. And the Suns went, nope, we want these guys. They might not have got everybody they wanted, but they went out and said, we want these guys. They made the moves, and even in the 2-way contract.
This is what's interesting about Luke Kennard, because you see this. I was shocked when he signed with the Suns, because the Suns only had that $6 million exception to
for that final spot,
right? And there were other teams with like $15 million exception and with more money.
He could have made more money.
And yet, then I said, it didn't make any sense to me until I saw this. His agent is the father of Josh Bartelstein.
Yeah. If you didn't know,
family connection.
Yeah, if you didn't know, Josh has a very family that are in that business. Yes.
So I said, okay, so I
it's not a secret out there.
I know, and so then when you find,
but don't you look at it if you're Luke Kennard that you come in here and you have just an unbelievable season?
Well,
and then that helps you out later on.
No. Well, here's the deal: the second year of his contract is a player option. So I'm pretty sure his agent said, "Look, we'll play that player option. You'll have bird rights, and so we'll do right by you."
After that, yeah. But that's what I hate about the NBA. They make that stuff so confusing all the time. It makes my head hurt. Yeah. But I knew you'd be excited about Brea when I saw that.
Sure.
I mean, back for another opportunity.
And so, and look, I want to again a tip of the hat to Brian Gregory, Bartelstein, and Ishbia and stuff, because see, when Matt came in, I mean, he purged our team. Mm-hmm. I mean, of all our young good talent, and then our young future assets going forward. So you said, I'm here thinking that, man, we're in trouble. I mean, we have nothing going, but they somehow managed to, trade this guy, waive this guy, and make other deals where they get future assets. And then all of a sudden you find out that their team is very young. Look, they got like 8 guys that are 25 or younger.
And with NBA experience on top of it. Yeah.
Jalen Green.
Yeah.
I mean, you go down Kaman Malawak. You look at Rasheer Fleming. Now you bring in Koa Pete. You have the Ryan Dunns, the Oso Ighodaro. Those are 6 guys right there that I just named that are 25 or younger.
Who are you, Coop, expecting to make the biggest jump this year from last year?
Rasheer Fleming. I mean, Rasheer was ready for more last year. but they just didn't give it to him. But you can't deny this kid's and look, that's one thing I learned about Jordan Ott last year. Ott just didn't like playing those young kids.
Like it, yeah.
He preferred to play the veterans over the young kids. So that's one of the reasons why I was so ardent about the Suns getting rid of both Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal, because now those are options that
you
Ott can't go to. He can't use them. And so then I read the other day, I think it was just yesterday, in fact, where they said that Rasheed Fleming added muscle and he's up to 250 pounds.
Yeah.
Now I hope.
I think he's gained an inch too.
Yeah, and I hope Malawak hit that same weight room.
Yeah, right.
Well, I was reading yesterday. I think it was yesterday, or maybe it was over the weekend. Malawak is literally like just living in the gym. Like every day he's in the gym working and working on his game and practicing and stuff to that effect. So, like this whole off season.
How about Oso? Do you think he's going to develop a shot?
Well, I sure hope so. I mean, if he did that, the Suns will be taking that Oklahoma City Thunder step, because they went out and got a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but everyone else is pretty much. And I know, you can say Mike Hartenstein and the kid that they got from L.A. Bald head.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, what is his name?
Yeah,
Caruso.
Alex Caruso. But everyone else is like homegrown.
Right.
And what they've done is that each year they've gotten better. They got better and better, to now where the Oklahoma City Thunder had this invincible team until Wemby and the Spurs came along. But I'll tell you what, I like what they did in the draft. They got Ade Mara.
Yeah, but
like 7'3", and
I like what the Spurs did in the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just added some talent.
They did. They went and got Jaden Quaidens, who's like 6'10", a big defensive savant, and Terrace Reed, another 6'10" guy. They're adding, because see, one thing that you saw was that Wemby gets pushed around.
Yep.
And now they're bringing some size and some defensive tenacity to aid him, to where if he needs to go to the bench and get re-energized, that we're not going to get exposed defensively.
Right.
Yeah. Just put those guys in there. Really quick here, because we want to talk Diamondbacks here just really fast. The Big 12 just announced they're going to be introducing live replay review conversations, kind of like what the ACC did last year, if you saw that. So basically, if you're watching the TV broadcast, you're going to hear the conversation between the replay officials and that official that looks in that stupid little thing. You're going to hear the conversation between the two of them if you're watching the broadcast.
I see.
I'm all for doing this stuff, because it takes away the guesswork. Even if they get a call wrong, you're going to understand why they made that decision. You don't have to wait till after the game and somebody put a statement out. You're going to hear it in real time. I think it's fantastic.
But look, correct me if I'm wrong. The ACC has its own network.
Yes.
I don't think the Big 12 does.
No.
And so I don't know how the Big 12 does that, because see, if it's the broadcasting entity that decides that.
Oh, I mean, they got with the broadcast guys on that.
ESPN, ABC,
no, there's rule. I mean, if they would all,
Fox.
you have to get it cleared through everybody first. It's not like, not like but the Fox is on board with it if they're gonna do it.
Okay, well then, but see, if the ACC can make that announcement, because they actually broadcast games like the SEC.
Yeah. I don't think Big 12's make that announcement if they haven't cleared it.
They're not doing it, and then we're going to be all disappointed when we don't see it. But I think everybody, this just goes to the transparency. So even if they make the call wrong and you think the call is wrong, you can at least hear the discussion about it. And you're going to go, okay, I can see why they say that's the rule, and then you can look it up and then disagree.
Or you can say those guys are drunken idiots.
But I think adding more of this discussion, because then that way you're not waiting. Like I always go back to the targeting at that Texas ASU game. It's like we had to wait till a statement afterwards, and then the statement was BS, and you have no way to address it.
That was a blown call.
If you would have heard the conversation, then it might have opened some eyes a little bit on it.
But here's the deal. Here's where I'll disagree with ASU fans. Yeah, it clearly was a blown call. But ASU blew it when they had 4th and 13. You can't go back
zero
and start,
coverage.
Yeah, you can't go back and start blaming that call when you had the game in your hands.
Yeah. No, you blame your defensive coordinator who loves that 4th and 4th and 0 coverage there on 4th down. 0 coverage on 4th down.
Yeah, you'd be playing Ohio State in the semifinals if you just take care of that one play. So don't go back. I don't want to hear about any any targeting call that wasn't made.
And if Danny Ainge hadn't left his guy, the Suns might have a banner in there.
If he hadn't fall down. Diamondbacks yesterday, 8-0 lead over the Padres. I knew the Padres were bad. I don't watch a lot of Padres baseball generally in life, even when they're good.
The Padres are not a bad team.
They're terrible.
I don't know.
They're terrible right now.
They still have the Manny Machados, the Fernando Tatis.
Machado's terrible right now. He's getting better. But he's terrible right now.
Look. I don't know what's happening. There's obviously a disconnect. I saw that they broke. I watched the game Sunday against the Dodgers when they snapped their 8-game losing streak. I don't know what has disconnected there, but I know they're a good team. Now, watching the game last night. They have
talent on that team.
Yeah, watching the game last night, I mean, it's the second straight game now that Brandon Pfaadt has thrown extremely well. So I'm of this opinion right now. This was circulating in my head. Brandon Pfaadt was obviously the ace of the Diamondbacks pitching staff, the way he pitched during their run to the 2023 World Series.
Right.
He got paid. So now I think he got a little comfortable. And maybe lost his focus. But when he got sit down to the minors, let me tell you something. His focus is back to being top drawer.
Did you notice he changed his pitching routine?
I saw that where he doesn't go over his head.
He doesn't go over his head anymore.
Keeps it up here.
He changed that by going back down too.
Yeah. But he doesn't. He didn't like that. He's more focused.
But early this year, he pitched well. It just had that one inning where he would give up 7 runs in one inning. But other than that, he was zero, type of deal. And then he avoided that.
But that 9-inning, let's call it a 9-inning focus.
Yep.
Even though he's only pitching 5 to 7 innings, that focus is back. He doesn't have those lapses. He hasn't had it. I mean, he's pitched extremely well, and so I was happy to see Max Kepler.
I was going to
say he launched that thing.
He came alive. He had half their RBI last night.
Well, he hit that ball, and I was talking to my buddy. I was watching the game because we started watching right after the soccer game, and the right fielder didn't even move. I mean, he just watched it go. Is that showing up your picture when you do that? Like, shouldn't you at least take a couple steps back?
Pretend like you can go get it. Put your glove up at least.
Is that like, my gosh, look at how far that's going.
And look, the Diamondbacks bullpen just continues to shine. I mean, they really, that's been, to me, the biggest surprise of this season. And it's probably, arguably, their strength of the team is their bullpen. And so I hope what we saw from Merrill Kelly over the weekend is an indication of him coming back to form. But let me tell you something. That darn, and I felt bad for him. That darn Eduardo Rodriguez. I mean, the dude just pitches his behind off every game.
2 runs.
Dude, they sent him back out in the 7th inning and gives up a hit. And so he's going to face the lefty 2-run homer. Yeah. I mean, he just pitched his behind off, and he continues to do that. And so I'm thinking, okay, if we get Pfaadt back on board, if we got him back, and Rodriguez continues to pitch the way he does, and maybe Merrill Kelly's rounded into form. Hey, look, Mike Soroka.
You're getting Soroka back soon.
He's just right around the corner from coming back.
Yeah,
right around the corner. And him and Rodriguez were pitching 1-2, and there's still one guy that I guess you can't, and you can't get rid of him now because of the Ryan Nelson and
doesn't matter. Call up Joe Schmo from Double A and have him.
But I think I watched Cabrera.
Yeah, he's on the mound tomorrow night. Cabrera.
Yeah. I think he's interesting.
I could see the flaws in Cabrera's game as they get film on him now, and they just have to work through it. But for now, keep him up there till they start to catch on to it and stuff to that. He throws hard in the movement, but I can see guys are going to catch up to him at some point. He's going to have an outing where we're all going to go, they caught up to him.
The other thing that Steve, you and I didn't even talk about this yesterday, the fact that the 2 All-Stars from Arizona.
Well, we talked about it.
I think we just mentioned it. Corbin Carroll and Erod.
Yeah.
You satisfied with that? You happy with that?
Yeah, I'm not sure that Carroll should have been on there, but Erod for sure.
Right.
I'm not sure.
With his triples and doubles alone should have him on the All-Star roster.
Well, let me tell you something. There's some other guys out there. I just watched James Wood from the National. I'm like, dude, he has 28 home runs.
He's a good
I'm like, son of a brick.
Yeah, but the Nationals are about to trade him because they can't have guys doing well. They'll have to pay him. They don't want that.
Well, I'll take him in Arizona.
Yeah, where is he going to play when he comes to Arizona?
Shoot, I'll say
Gurriel, and they make too much money.
Man,
have to be cheap guys.
Hey, man, I'll pay that dude. Hey, we need some type of hitting because that's the Diamondbacks' big Achilles heel right now is that they don't have that bopper in the lineup.
Well, they
don't have anybody to hit.
Well, they have some guys that are capable.
Yeah, right. They're just not. Yeah.
But if you go back to last year, we know as Gino had over close to 40 home runs with Arizona.
Right.
And
that's
Naylor was another guy that could.
That's the frustrating thing with me and the Diamondbacks. They scored 8 runs last night, and you just know, like tonight, they're going to score 2.
Hey, look,
they're going to score 1 or 2 tonight.
I wasn't a big Josh Naylor fan, but the more and more I watch Pavin Smith play first base, I miss Naylor.
Coop, I want to see you out there at first base instead of Pavin at this point. They did make a move yesterday that obviously, they needed to. But, I mean, James McCann coming back to this, a veteran presence, I think is going to help this team in the locker room. But Adrian Del Castillo, they needed to do something.
Yeah, he needed to go down. I mean, the dude's hitting close to 150.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, dude.
Him and Pavin. But at least they made a move on one of those 2 guys because they weren't willing to do it before. So it gives you hope, doesn't it?
Well, how long is it till Jordan Lawler comes back? Because I'll send Pavin Smith back down.
Well, Pavin Smith you're going to have to DFA him. Pavin can't go down, I don't believe. I don't think he has options anymore. I think that's why they keep holding on to him.
I'll trade.
He's got pictures of somebody.
I'll trade him at the deadline.
Who's going to take him
for a low A pitcher?
You might get used Gatorade back or something for Pavin Smith at this point.
Bag of batting,
throw up the wild card standings really quick here, and I mean, look, the Diamondbacks Padres they were tied yesterday coming into this. Obviously, Diamondbacks go a game ahead of them here in the wild card standings here. You have the potential to put away. It's way tons of baseball left. But you have potential to do damage to a team that's struggling right now in the Padres. They got game 1. We'll have to see how Zach Gallen goes tonight and everything coming up here. But this is why this series is important, is you can really do some damage to yourself in the wild card of a hole you have to dig out of here, especially with the Dodgers 3 coming up shortly in front of you as well. So hurt your division foe now and get through this with this 4-game series. I think it's super important to do that. On a team that's scuffling, the Padres are scuffling.
Well, yeah, if they can sweep the Padres, because we've seen them sweep the Giants twice and then win 2 out of 3 the second time. If they can do that, I like their chances of finishing behind the Dodgers. Now, whether that's good enough or not to be one of the 3 wild cards, that's still to be seen.
Yeah, but I don't think it will be.
But if you got those teams behind you in your rearview mirror in your own division. That's a positive.
Right.
Yeah. And I think I just want to see some. Now the Padres own over 500, so it's not helping that 14-32 record or whatever it is now. But I want to see you beat teams that have a lot of talent, and the Padres have a lot of talent. Sure yes, they're not playing well, but beat those teams. Don't go out there and struggle against them because that's what they've been doing all along. I just want to mention this while Coop's here as well. Over the weekend, I saw this, and I didn't believe it at first, but apparently it's real. Major League Baseball put out retiring umpires that are taking their retirement plan over the weekend and everything. And, some big guys are on that list there and stuff like this. Is this a sign of the ABS system retiring some of these umpires that just don't have it anymore and they're not going to be embarrassed?
Well, I'll tell you what. Was it a forced thing for the
CB Buckner, when CB Buckner went down with that injury, it was after a couple really bad games for him. And I put out on Twitter and I said, CB Buckner is retiring himself from baseball because they said he's having a big concussions and he's not going to come back. And a couple people jumped on my feed and they were like, you don't know how bad a concussion is when you get hit like that. And I was like, I don't care. He's not coming back. He got embarrassed with the ABS system. He's going to self-retire himself, meaning he's injured. And now he's one of the guys taking this package and stuff like that. Is this what the ABS is kind of what it's doing? Is it's going to get rid of some of these umpires that are struggling, getting the calls right in these.
Yeah, but you know what? I was very skeptical of the ABS system coming in, but I actually like it.
The way they've implemented it.
Yeah. I actually like it, and I like the fact that I didn't know how the referees or the umpires would respond,
right.
To a missed call, and it seems like they handle it all. They take it all in stride,
right?
And it seems like no one really gets on them one way or the other. And I was watching a game where a Diamondbacks game a couple weeks ago, where every challenge, both teams. You get two challenges.
Yeah.
Yep. Neither team ever lost this challenge.
Yeah, kept going.
I'm like, this referee. I mean, dude,
I agree with you.
I'm feeling bad for him.
I agree with you in the regular season. The question I got is how it's going to be implemented in the playoffs.
Does it change in the playoffs?
Well, no. Here's the question I got. We've already seen it in regular season a couple times, not too often. Is how the teams implement it. You want one challenge for late in the game in a playoff, especially an elimination type game. Could you imagine this comes down to the ninth inning, borderline pitch, strikeout, is game, lose the game, or it's a walk and you lose, and you don't have a challenge on it on a pitch that isn't borderline or something? Like, that's where I'm going to be interested in seeing how this rolls out, how it affects a playoff game and how you implement the ABS kind of a deal.
It's no different, I see, than the regular season. I think there's some teams that have not been smart about this.
Right.
I mean,
I saw a guy the other day challenge two pitchers in the first inning, lose them both, and they lost the challenge in the first inning.
When there's no one on.
That was over the weekend.
When there's no one on base, there's not a big situation. I mean, look, if it's bases loaded, 3-2 pitch and stuff like that, call strike 3-8.
And your strikeout doesn't hurt, unless it's right down the middle.
Those are situations that call for it, and so you have to be judicious about how you implement or use it. And so there's some teams that have been really stupid.
Right.
Yeah. The first game where a challenge is obvious and you don't have one in the 8th or 9th inning because you used them earlier in a playoff game that cost you the series. That's just going to be fascinating to see the reactions to it. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Because now you lose a regular season game. It's a regular season game. We'll learn better. I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes.
Some of those regular season games have hurt the Diamondbacks down the stretch the last 2 years.
That's true.
Well, that's the thing, right? That's true. One game, right?
Hey, the one thing we know about this time, Ketel Marte's not going to have to rest on Sunday.
I was joking around with Dale.
And he'll be back whenever they play next.
Dale says that, but now instead of going to the All-Star game, he could just take off and go straight to the Dominican and miss his plane flight back. He won't have to stop for the All-Star game.
I'm seeing him run harder and faster.
Dude, man, he's stealing bases. He stole second and he stole third. I'm like, who is this guy?
Which just baffles me because all along, last couple of years, he's got bad hamstrings and a bad back. We don't want him to run. And now he's doing it. And it's like he could have done it all along.
No, he had a bad back and bad hamstrings.
It drives me nuts, man. I'll tell you this, Coop. While I was on vacation, I did not pay attention to the Diamondbacks at all. Very little sports. Man, my life was just so peaceful without hearing all the nonsense about how Gallen, isn't fighting for his job, and Pavin Smith we know what kind of hitter Pavin is. Yeah, sucky one. They keep running him out. It was just so relaxing, not getting fed all that stuff all weekend long and lied to the whole weekend. So beautiful. Now I'm back.
Are you going to be watching the Vegas Summer League this weekend?
I'll be paying attention to it just because I want to see what the way I look at Summer League is this. If you're a rookie and you go in and you struggle in Summer League, that makes you worried for the NBA season coming up. But if you go out there and dominate it or have a really good success, then that means doesn't mean you're going to go be an all-star this year, but you're in a better position to go into the season and contribute. So I'll be paying attention to Kobe. I want to see which one he is. If he goes out there and dominates and has great games, perfect. He's ready to come in and learn and improve in the NBA season. But guys that go out there and struggle against G League guys.
I honestly don't see Cole Pete making that big of an impact.
But as long as they don't struggle.
Yeah.
I don't want him to see him struggle.
Because if I look at the power forward's position, I'm saying, okay, Bridges is going to start. And his backup has to be Rasheer Fleming. Fleming has to play. He has to play. And so
I'd say the same about Malawach, though, as the backup. I'd say the same thing about Malawach as the backup. He needs more minutes.
I don't have any confidence that Jordan Ott will be able to utilize that three-headed center monster.
But that's why I'm getting out with Fleming. You could see him not go with Fleming as that second spot.
Who's his option? Who's his option if he didn't? Koa Pete?
Yeah.
Look.
Throw Oso over into that?
Well, if Oso developed any type of a shot, then I'd be able to consider it.
But I also think that this summer league also kind of gives you an insight of where guys can play as well, because they don't always play them in the right positions, and they move them around a little bit. So that's what I get from the summer league. It's nonsense. It's preseason. It's garbage. But what you don't want to see is a guy out there and look lost, because these are G League guys they're playing against. And if you got to go out there and have a good, successful summer league, at least look like you know what you're doing out there and not look lost, because that's what worries.
Yeah, the Suns also made this two-way contract signing of Pat Spencer from Golden State. Yeah. And I remember watching Suns Warriors games, and Spencer is knocking down these. I'm like, who is this guy?
Who is this
guy?
Dude, that looks like they pulled him off the street.
And so and so he's an interesting talent. I thought he was worth kicking a bucket on. I really do.
Yeah, he played well with the Warriors and that offense and everything. I don't disagree with you on that. And that's what I like about the two-way. That's what I just like about it. Hey, let's try these guys out. They don't work out. They go down the G League and play down there, and we don't have to see them all year, but we'd like to see them develop here and using that two-way contract the way you should. A lot of teams try to use a two-way contract to skirt their roster and get guys on their roster and stuff like that. And the Suns look like, they like to promote them, but let's develop them and make them into players. So I like that a lot. But, hey, the legend, Bruce Cooper, we're done with you today, Coop. Appreciate you coming in as always. For Dale Hellestrae, the star of the show. Don't forget, guys, we end the show now like Michael Bidwell yesterday. Want to remind everybody, appreciate you guys watching, but remember, I am the owner of this show. You guys think Dale is, but I am the owner of this show. And lucky for you, I'm here to guide you along the way.
He's got a bridal suite that he wants to send you away.
See you tomorrow, everybody. The main event.